Game night tonight for the Buffalo Sabres, 7:30 puck drop, 6:30 pregame as they play host to Boston. For television purposes, it is a TNT HBO game, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. Matthias Samuelsson is considered a game-time decision after missing practice yesterday with an illness. He was out there, though, this morning for the optional skate. Connor Timmins appears to be going in the lineup in place of Zach Metsup, and all signs point to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start in net. We'll get confirmation on all of this as we get closer to puck drop. And the Sabres injury report is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. And while it was a packed night yesterday, tonight just two games, one other one not named the Sabres and the Bruins, and that is Rangers at the Maple Leafs. That game also will get underway at 7:30. In the NBA, the league did in fact vote in favor today to explore Las Vegas and Seattle expansions. And then baseball is back. MLB opening night is tonight. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. Yankees-Giants, it's live on Netflix tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Uh-oh. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody?
Monday, Tuesday, hump day is halfway. It's Mike Schopp.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
And the Bulldog.
Hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on. I know you can hear me.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
Guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
On WGR.
Hump day.
Sports Radio 550.
Hi there, I'm working out something not very important. 1 to 10. 6?
Okay.
3?
Ooh, well, that's a
Somewhere, I haven't decided yet. Somewhere in the 3 to 6 range, important.
Okay.
With my cousin. My cousin Julie cuts my hair. And I was on my way out the door this morning for a haircut, which, perfect. I'm here at Roswell with you. Everybody's going to be staring at us the whole time, not caring about anything else but to look at us. Then the hockey game tonight, maybe I can get in there, not have that embarrassing moment where I have to sort of to sneak my hat off for the anthems, then put it back on quickly. Because my hair is, it's unkempt.
Get a nice freshening up. You've trimmed the beard, though, since we last talked about
a while ago.
Our grooming.
Yes. But as I was walking out the door this morning, and I had a leak in my basement. I had water. One of the worst things you could, first world, but one of the worst things you could see is like you're leaving for the day. No one else is home. This is mine for the few hours here.
Right, I own this situation.
I have a problem now.
Yeah.
So I canceled on her. And, do you have anything soon, next week? She's like, I'm going to Florida.
Oh, boy.
So I have to decide between finding someone else to cut my hair. A lot of people do it. It's probably not the worst choice ever to, like, you have Oral Roberts.
I got a guy.
I used to have Brigham Young. I went back to Brigham Young. I mean, there are lots of people in the world who could cut your hair. They would do it for money. Or just put it off until Julie gets back from Florida.
How long is that going to be?
At least 2 weeks.
Ooh. I feel like 1 week is like, 2. Boy, that's a lot. Especially if you feel like you really need the haircut.
Well, look at me.
Yeah.
I mean,
I guess
I do.
Yeah, I guess
I'm
so.
curling and flowing and sideways and backways and frontways, and you can see it. Those of you who are watching, it's time.
It's as bad as maybe it's ever been right now.
Wow. Well, for you to say it.
Yeah.
So I have to maybe go elsewhere for once. You think?
I have an appointment to see my man Oral Roberts on Monday. That I don't feel like I'm like the opposite of you. Like, it just sort of snuck up on me, and I feel like maybe he went shorter this last time than normal.
You don't think you need a haircut?
I don't feel like the beard is going to need attention, so I'm going to keep the appointment. But the hair is already as short. It's shorter than it often is when I go get it cut. You know what I mean? Like when I walk out of there. So
maybe I'll take your appointment.
That's what I'm suggesting. Maybe, but
I'd like to meet this Oral Roberts.
I'm not just going to give it to you, though. I might have to extract some kind of a payment. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
Well, you haven't been to a dentist in 30 years, right?
You're going to swap me a dentist appointment.
So we could trade. I had as it happens, I had a cleaning in January. It should have been that I checked my voicemail and knew this already, but I never do. So I went there for my cleaning appointment in January and found out when I arrived that my hygienist was homesick and not there. Like, all right, well, we'll figure something out. I leave. I get a couple of texts, here and there. You're late for your appointment. Like, I know. But, when you leave your appointment, haircut, dentist, anything, you make the next one.
Right.
So I wasn't there to do that. We'll just put it off and figure it out. So today, same thing. Today I called. I'm sitting there watching the water come out of my basement ceiling.
Nothing else to do, so might as well
just
tidy
taking
up
care of everything.
Yeah, right.
Right. So I call the dentist and I'd like to get in with Emily, and she's like, "All right, great. We've got July 21st." July 21st.
That's a ways off.
4 months almost to the day is the best I could do.
That's a ways off. That's amazing.
So I can't really help you too much there unless you want 4 months to prepare for a cleaning.
I can't. Listen, you're right to point out that it's not something I'm bragging about, but I have not. I've not gone to the dentist in as long as you've said, 30 years. I feel like if I go now, it's going to be like, if you have an old house and you go to replace a light bulb and a socket in a closet, and you go, all right, well, I just got to take this light bulb out. And you got to turn the light bulb out of the socket,
and the ceiling
whole socket falls out, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of rot and a bunch of other stuff. That's what I feel like might happen to my mouth if someone went in there with those tools. The hygienist would be like, "Oh, we'll just give you a clean." Oh my God, what happened in there? Why haven't you been to the dentist in so long? I don't want that, so I'm just going to keep going without going to the dentist.
There's something in there that people stopped making 30 years ago.
Nothing has stopped me so far. I mean, so far so good.
Pez?
Right?
What's in there that's a tell that you have not had your teeth cleaned in forever, is that something's in there that they don't even make anymore.
I don't take sugar in my coffee. I mean, a lot of people don't.
Jarts.
Do that, so I don't, right?
You have a jart in your mouth.
I'm just imagining like a Family Guy episode now.
Mouth jars.
The hygienist is just pulling these things out.
What else is in there?
All sorts of
wait. What is here between these two molars? Oh, it's the ABA. What is that doing in your mouth?
What are these candy cigarettes?
What is the American Basketball
They used to
Association?
make candy cigarettes?
What is candy cigarettes?
What are those? Oh, boy. All right.
Oh, there's a little bit of a razor blade in there. That must be from Halloween, 1982.
Is that a penny?
Is that a penny? They don't make pennies anymore. Why do you have a penny in your mouth?
Why did you eat a penny?
What does Bulldog have in his mouth from 30 years ago, 803-0550? What's in there? What is that?
Oh, my God.
I thought of a word that I will not say, but it's hilarious.
I'm laughing so hard. I'm
If I was really good at this, I would say the word that I just thought of. I'll tell you off the air. I will not say it.
All right, thank you for your discretion.
I will not say it.
Everyone here at Roswell Park
It's a thing that's not a thing anymore that is not in your mouth anyway, so what's the point? So how did you consume last night? Hockey.
Last night, probably 7:15 before I sat down, and you just...
I'm still laughing at the other thing.
Some rubber ducky.
Go ahead.
Hey,
Go ahead. No, it's way worse. That I would say.
7:15, go to the ESPN Plus app. Oh, okay, well, here we are. I've got multicast. Like that's there usually if they even only have 2 games up, but there were so many games last night. So, and I'll look at it, but I don't choose to watch. It's just too much. There's 4 games. It fills the screen. There's no dead space. But 4 games on the screen, you can, choose which one you want the audio for. And I had that on for 25 minutes or so, waiting for the Tampa game to start, thinking, it probably wouldn't start till close to 7:45, which was about right.
Yeah.
So I just did that. I saw a couple of goals, one in the Pittsburgh-Colorado game, one in one of the other games I don't remember, and then I just flipped over to
ADP chasing.
I flipped over to
Yeah. Can you believe I can't get a word in with those guys?
Tampa, Minnesota. And that was that. And I ended up, for some reason, Boston's here tonight. First intermission of that Tampa game, I went to Toronto, Boston. And I ended up watching that almost to the end.
What did that look like? I never got there.
That looked like Boston was not there. It was a very sleepy game, I would say. Although, I mean, I saw a Zadorov cheap shot on John Tavares. He got a 5-minute penalty, not a game misconduct. And
it's a day with a D in it.
One of the littlest, youngest guys on the Leafs, Easton Cowan, went chasing after giant Zadorov, gloves off and everything, and just jumped at him. And thankfully, the rest of his teammates arrived because that would have been pretty ghastly. But
I'm sure he's getting a lot of credit in Toronto.
Yes,
today
but so despite that,
for that meaningless thing,
that little dust up, it was a pretty sleepy game.
Not meaningless.
Toronto won the game, and it was it seemed like a pretty dull effort from Boston.
Okay. So you haven't asked me yet. I got done with ADP chasing a few minutes after 9, because those guys love to talk, and that's how long it takes.
Mm-hmm.
So at 9 o'clock or 9:15, maybe, my choices were the Fubo. The choices were the Penguin Blowout or NHL Network, and I went there. And that's the kind of show.
Are they just going around the league kind of thing?
Kind of. Yeah. So it's 3 guys, Jason Demers, Devin Dubnyk, someone else. It's the show I recommended we do 20 years ago during Bills games when we didn't have the rights.
Okay.
And I'm about to call a meeting again.
Yep.
Because maybe who knows?
Yep.
So it would be I don't know, I'm probably biased because I would have a voice in it, but better than actually listening to the game would be your friends talking about the game when it's on.
The Manning cast, basically.
Right. So NHL Network had a version of that, and I got the last minute and a half in Detroit, Ottawa, then the last minute in Philadelphia, Columbus, and this is not in the right order, the last minute on the island. With Chicago.
Pretty solid job there.
And all of them were 1-goal games. The goalie's pulled, and it's a scrum around the net, and it's Ullmark saves the day for Ottawa, and Philadelphia blows it, and the Islanders can't score. They have a thing. They lose a draw or something. And, so in 5 minutes, I got the end of 3 games, which is all you need.
Yeah, it's a good job.
Never got to Boston, and then it was Tampa. And as soon as I turned on Tampa, it goes to 3-3, and I have an announcement. And I might change my mind tomorrow. I'm changing it from yesterday right now. Mm-hmm. That whole thing about not caring about first place, I'm out. I'm done. I don't care about it. I've decided to care about it.
Okay.
I hate them.
Welcome.
I hate them. They overrule a Minnesota goal that could have been, and you see the play?
Yeah, I never did. I left that game to watch Boston Toronto, and I got back when it was already 3-3, and they thought it was McCarron, I think.
Yeah.
They thought scored a goal to give them a 1-goal lead early in the third.
Late second.
Oh, late second. Okay, thank you.
Final seconds.
So I missed all that. I didn't see what happened.
What happened was, the first thing, of course, I'm going to say is Minnesota goes in 3-on-1, and there's a pass to somebody's feet. And before the goal is even scored, Ed Olczyk is there to tell you that he should have shot it, even though it's in his feet, because the net was open.
Yeah.
Which, thanks. How much do you make? So they pass it around and score anyway. I'm like, oh, great. Well, he's not going to apologize.
Right. No, that's not how that works.
So the goal goes in, and what happened was, it was. Here we are again on a scale of 1 to 10. 6.5 out of 10 cross-check of Radish in front of the net. I'm sitting there hating Tampa. I'm like, oh, he totally fell on Vasilevsky on purpose. Mm-hmm. He landed the way he did on purpose, and then he stayed there.
So we got a goalie interference call.
We got a goalie interference call.
By an offensive player cross-checking a defender into his own goalie.
Right.
Yeah.
And a challenge.
Almost like it's almost like I didn't see it, but I can imagine.
On a challenge.
Yeah, right.
So the goal counts. There's Cooper, coach of the year.
Yeah.
And he challenges that play, and he gets away with it, which, okay, it might be right.
Yeah.
The announcers, the Lightning announcers, Olczyk, nobody says Boucher.
That's not the Lightning announcers.
Well, they are. Actually, if you listen to them, they are.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
And so they are all like, "Oh, of course, this is interference." They wanted, with no explanation, I guess, is needed because it's hockey. They wanted a penalty on the cross-check and the goal disallowed.
Oh boy!
Like, well, why not?
Well, that's a good question.
It's a terrible question. So
really?
Yes, you can't do that. It never happens.
No, it never happens. But I think it's a good question why it doesn't happen. If you commit a foul that causes another foul. Why isn't that the original foul a foul? Anyway, all right, go ahead.
I mean, what was the football term that you told me they were going to review, or the something zone, the style zone, or whatever? Like everything is now on the table. But I don't want to live in that world. We got balls and strikes being challenged tonight.
Right. Okay.
Literally tonight.
All right.
The ABS. What do you want to know? You get 2 per game, and I'll wait on this because it's too good. No, I'll tell you right now. You don't know anything about how this is going to work, right? The ABS.
I have almost with intent avoided.
Right.
I don't want to know.
I'll tell you 2 things right now about it.
I just want to yell
so
at
I don't
it
forget all day to mention it. Okay. One is, so when you watch so much happening. We're at Roswell Park and we're in a hallway, and everything is happening out here. If you're wondering why it sounds like this. There are 2 things about ABS. One is when you watch a game and they show you the replay of, like, whether it's a ball or a strike, did you know the moment when they show it is the ball over the midpoint of the plate, not the front or the back?
Okay. So
I read the great Ben Lindbergh today explaining all of this, which I needed. And he's like, if they did the front of the plate, there'd be all these breaking balls that they're in the dirt, but they'd be strikes.
Right.
And we would hate life.
Right.
So it's the midpoint of the plate,
okay.
1. 2, they very carefully measure the height of the batter. So every batter is very, like, I'm not sure if he has shoes on or not, but his height is very carefully measured. And so with that,
can I just say something real quick?
Sure. That's what I'm doing.
I'm just really worried about anyone in our audience that's driving a car that cares about baseball and the chances of them just driving intentionally into a bridge abutment while you're laying this all out.
I'm not even in the rest of the Lightning game yet.
I can't even. It's already too
midpoint
much.
Of the plate.
Oh, my God. Measuring. Okay.
Well, how are they going to know where the strike zone?
Okay, yeah.
What's the point?
Yep.
The point is we need computers to know the strike zone now because people are too bad at it.
Yeah.
So we have to measure, and, it's from here to here, whatever it is, knees to chest or whatever it is.
Okay.
But if your stance, this I love. This is great. Your stance is not considered. So, like, has the show ever sounded over?
Right.
Pete Rose.
Right. That squatty stance.
Take somebody and put them in the strike zone is the same by the computer, no matter how they stand. So if you get into the lowest crouch you can get into, and the ball is over your head, or it wouldn't be that, but at your head, almost at your head, that could be possible. That's a strike. You can stand any way you want, but your strike zone does not change.
It changes depending on the size of the batter.
The person.
So
right.
we're back to, like, is it Eddie Goodell, the White Sox?
Eddie Goodell.
There's a legendary. It was Comiskey, though, right?
I think so.
Put a little person in to bat because you're not going to be able to throw a strike to this guy.
Right.
So we're going to get back to that now, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe that'll become a tag. Everybody's going to have a smaller player on their team just for
I don't know.
Strike zone. Wow. Okay.
I don't know, but that's a thing.
Okay.
Was I too loud?
So okay. Tampa. We want to finish the Tampa thought out?
Oh, well, now it's 3-3. The Minnesota goal doesn't count. Then you get that winner, which is not even – was that a shot on goal?
I can't believe it was well, no, yeah, sure, because the puck came out. A Tampa player shot it in off the camera.
Right.
Happened. The goalie misplayed it, but he didn't knock it into his own net.
That's right.
That's
a shot on goal.
He let it through him into the slot, and what you couldn't tell in live action was that it hit the camera and came out so fast. So they let play continue and then eventually realized, hey, actually that was in the net. And then they scored an empty netter, and then the dreaded post-empty net goal with the goalie back in. So it was a 6-3 final.
And there was a play at 4-3 with the net empty maybe where Minnesota is going in, and there's a cross-check, and then there's another one, and the guy grabs his head.
The referee got hit with an errant high stick.
The referee gets hit with it's the same Radish.
That's where I checked out. I went like
no penalty for that.
Like 4-3. All right, I'm done.
You can hit the ref with the high stick,
right?
No problem.
Yeah.
If you're Tampa at home, it's fine.
Yeah.
While you're grabbing a Minnesota guy's head, he gets the penalty. I hate them. I have changed my position on this 100%. I want them to be second, so they can play Canadians, and I'd watch that.
You mean Tampa?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I got confused. You were talking about first place, and you don't care about first place, and then you say, I want them. I thought you were talking about the Sabres.
Tampa.
You want
I
Tampa
want to win
in
now.
second. You want first place.
I want to win.
Well, good.
I'll take any of these other teams.
Sure.
Even Senators. Whatever. If I get them, I get them.
Yep.
Islanders, Columbus, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Boston. I want to avoid Montreal, and I want to beat Tampa.
I'm totally here for it. I'm happy to hear this. Because I also, I want first mostly because they're there and I want them to hold on to it. Like they've got the lead and I don't want them to blow something, and not feel like they missed out on something. But it's so wild because there's so much flux. You don't know. Like today was my, maybe every day, maybe fans are doing this, a team of the day. Not that we have a team of the day, but like today was a day for me to think about Columbus. Like, what is going on there? They hardly ever have lost since Bowness took over. I saw that their goals against since he took over is under 2 a game. Like 1.7 something or maybe 1.85 or something, which is nuts. So they might be a handful. Like I'm inclined to go, it's Columbus. How good can they be? But I don't know. Wouldn't there be a lot of teams, fans that are in the playoff pool right now going, it's Buffalo. I mean, come on, right?
That's interesting.
Because I'm doing that with Columbus, but I think maybe I'm making a mistake. Because they're on a heater that's not run as long as Buffalo's, but it's comparable. Like, they are winning all the time.
I think that's one difference, and I think there are two. That's one of them, that the Sabres have basically almost doubled Columbus's role.
Yep.
And I think the other one is they're just not – I mean, of course, I'm going to not have an objective position on this, but they're not like a sympathetic figure.
Oh, no.
They're not the opposite of that.
No, they're not
but
villain.
They're just a team.
Yeah.
And I think the Sabres, with their history and the longest drought ever – I read McIndoe on – the Sabres being like the number one bandwagon team maybe ever. Like people are going to gravitate to them. On ADP chasing, Jacob Sanderson is a Leafs fan. He lives in Vancouver. He flies to Toronto for big games. And he's like, go Buffalo. Like at this point,
all right,
I'd love to see them win. I think that happened in 2006. I think this was already pretty well established then. Hockey took a year off. And then the Sabres came out of the lockout and were good eventually. And I remember Bill Simmons being one to like, I'll root for the Sabres.
This is cool. Yeah.
They deserve it.
They were basically coming out of bankruptcy, out of the lockout.
That too.
Right.
That too. So I think, Columbus is not a blue blood at all.
No.
And, they have fans and they haven't had much success. So, okay. But I think the Sabres are different. But I would say that.
I think objectively it is true that they are. What Columbus isn't is just – Columbus is just sort of not – they're more of a non-entity, I think, really, right? Their claim to fame entirely for their existence is beating Tampa once in a playoff series. Like that's
and it's the first round.
Right. That's it. That's all they've got. So, like, I don't know anybody who hates them or, like, is mad at them. But I also don't know anybody who would go like, I think I'm going to take – I like the Columbus story this year. But I live in Buffalo.
Just okay.
Right.
The Lightning announced a few minutes ago that Victor Hedman is leaving the team. Temporary leave of absence for personal reasons. So that's new in the
Okay.
while we've been talking. It's probably right when I was railing on them that
Right.
they announced that Victor Hedman his privacy is not to be, disrespected. Sorry if I got the timing wrong on that, but that's how it goes. I mean, we're on the air. You're on when you're on. They're moving tables around all around us and moving bags and stuff.
A lot of activity.
Lots of stuff happening around us. So we are here for it. First place. How much do you care? The Bruins tonight. I'll be there. Look for me.
Good deal. Are you on the glass tonight, too?
Row 10.
Okay. So, no.
No. Sorry to confuse.
A better answer to that
not be
question is
more
no.
specific. No, I'm not. Same section, but row 10.
All right.
It'll do. 803-0550. Today, Chris Trapasso joins us talking NFL draft. A couple new names that I saw, new to me, in the mock draft sphere for the Bills at pick 26. Then we'll go all the way to 7:30 game. Paul Hamilton in the pregame show at 6:30 tonight. How are you feeling? What do you want? The Sabres, matchups, the Lightning. I mean, if you watched last night, they were pretty easy to hate. I think they're the number one with a bullet right now for the Sabres, but, I mean, probably not a first-round opponent. Let's hope. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here at Roswell Park. This is WGR.
The goaltending is the biggest thing. That's always going to be a huge thing. You know, you talk about my business. Like, there's not anything I can really point to and be like, oh, this is now the major factor. I don't want to say that there's regression coming or whatever. It's been over half a season. They're a very good team. I've watched them a bunch. Like, they are really good. They're deep. They get contributions up and down the lineup. Everybody scores. Everybody plays. I don't think you can put a value on the fact that there's not guys at the forward group that play 24 minutes a night. There's not guys that play 5 minutes a night. They all play between 10 and 20. Everybody's got a role. Everybody's valued. Everybody feels that. And what that does to a player's psyche, that's how you build a team.
Okay, that's really interesting and good. Of course, from Mike Kelly, it would be NHL Network.
I thought he was going to squeeze in and everybody eats there. Just mix the teams up. Anyway.
Let's go.
There's a lot of everybody's there. Everybody.
Right?
Yeah.
The Sabres could use that. They don't really need anything right now,
right,
but everybody eats.
The point is, they kind of are that. Like, that's another way. That's a very short way of saying what he just said, which is like that everyone's contributing, and it's not like you're just leaning on Stephon Diggs. It's lines 1 through 4. It's forwards 1 through 12. Like, everyone, to varying degrees. Obviously, Beck Malenstein does not score like Alex Tuck scores. But they have their moments, and they play their role, and they are not just playing, like he says, a few minutes a night, like you sometimes used to see with, tough guys on the fourth line, and they, play a shift a period or whatever, and like that would be it.
That's another that itself is an interesting question about what the playoffs will look like. Does that change?
Yeah, I know.
Do you get into the third period and just lean on your top two lines? I mean, I feel like, to backtrack a step, the first thing he said there, I mean, here's Mike Kelly, who he's numbers. He knows a lot. I only mean this as a compliment. He says up front, like, well, their goaltending, man, it's been half a season. He sort of stops himself from questioning it.
Right.
And then he says, I don't really have any data for this. I can't tell you what's going to happen with the goalies. And damn right. I mean, that's how goalies goes. I mean, he's right to be humble enough to not try to, like some people, tell you how it's going to go with goalies, because nobody knows that answer. So good for him. But goalie is microcosm of the other point, which is, all right, well, I've gotten here how? With two guys going back and forth almost literally exactly for weeks. And maybe that continues all the way to the end. Maybe – what's tonight? 73? Whatever, odd or even, whatever tonight is. Whoever plays tonight maybe doesn't play the last game. However it lands.
Yeah.
Guy plays the last game. The other guy plays game 1.
Right.
And I kind of want the Sabres to keep rolling like that. But, in terms of their forward, their lines and just their skaters, they probably will get into games and rein in certain players and lean on others. So I don't know. It's one of the goalies themselves, and then just sort of from a team.
That's a whole separate thing.
Macro. Yep. Like, it's one of the maybe the most interesting thing to talk about with them and how this is going to evolve.
There are, I don't have exactly the number of games left sitting right in front of me, but if they
11.
If they intend on choosing a guy. Like if that, maybe they'll announce that, maybe they won't. My sense is they probably won't, right? We'll be waiting before game 2 at the game day skate for clues as to what's going to happen following game 1. And I get, maybe win or lose, they got lost. It'd be easier to just stay with the rotation. If they win, then I think there's a lot more maybe edginess to the whole scene, right? But if they want to, if they think, like if Lindy or the coaching staff thinks, and I have no idea what they think about this, but traditional hockey, like we talked with Fluta Shinzawa yesterday, he wanted the Bruins when they had Ullmark and Swayman to keep going with the rotation, but they didn't, right? Traditional hockey is, he's my number one, that's it, you're playing, right? If they want to do that, they probably should at some point here with 11 games left. Try that out. with games every other day, right? Like if you think Luukkonen is going to be the guy, you might want to play him 3 in a row to see, or 4 in a row to see what happens, and same with Lyon. And maybe each guy should get a turn if you want to do that. If I might suggest that if they don't do that between here and the end, then maybe that's a sign that the rotation is going to continue.
Really
because these guys have not played. Luukkonen one time had 2 starts in a row. I'm not sure if Lyon has. He probably did while Luukkonen was hurt. Yeah.
Wow.
Luukkonen. Yeah. I mean, at least once the rotation was going. That's why, like, if one guy was in or out, maybe they played more in a row. Like Lyon, I think at one point while Luukkonen was on the shelf the first time, not at the Olympic time, probably did. But I still think you'd want to make sure how they're going to handle it. How do they look in Game 3? Of 3 in a row versus Game 1. Like, are they fatigued? Are there signs of fatigue? Whatever. I don't think you'd want to just start out of nowhere on April 18th. Okay, you're going to play the next 30 games. That's insane, I think. So if they don't start giving someone a few in a row, maybe that's a clue that they're going to just stay with the rotation.
No matter what?
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's where, like, I don't know if a guy if they're flipping back and forth,
it's just
interesting. It's so hard to know. Like they win Game 1 with Lyon. Luukkonen goes in Game 2, they lose. No,
goodbye forever.
I want the opposite. I want Lyon in Game 1, they lose. Luukkonen goes in, he wins. You stay with Luukkonen now in Game 3, right?
There will almost always be a day off.
It always goes, right? So
that's the out the coach has is. Almost always there will be a day off, at least one.
Absolutely, yeah. There are never back-to-back games. I'm not saying they need, like, back-to-back nights. I'm just saying back-to-back starts.
I know.
Because they haven't done that at all.
But
hardly.
If the coach Lindy, if a coach went to the same goalie the next night because there were back-to-back games, that would be easier to question. That would be under more scrutiny.
That's right.
Than if a day off. And a lot of those days off will be travel days too. I'm not sure really how much that has to matter, but very interesting idea to test that now, and that is somewhat a question of how badly do they want first place.
Yeah.
I mean, first in the conference is in play. Carolina loses.
They're a point out
to Montreal. Hopefully you had that bet, by the way, from us yesterday. I mean,
yeah.
Plus money, Montreal at home against Carolina. Who's the better team?
And Blackhawks on the money line last night too, by the way.
Let's go. Who's the better team?
So,
I'd rather play Carolina in round 1 than Montreal.
I don't know. I
can't play Carolina in round 1. I know.
No. Yeah. Right.
But Montreal is pretty scary.
Montreal,
Ottawa is a realistic conference final.
Montreal is really scary, high end. Like I'm not sure how buttoned up they can be. Like I feel like I've seen evidence of the Sabres locking games down plenty of times. I'm not watching Montreal necessarily do that.
I think
that's not to say they're not doing it, but I don't think they're as good at that. Their goaltending has been suspect at times.
Yep.
So
3 guys.
Yeah. There's
I think Carolina maybe badly outshot them too.
Yeah.
Last night.
Carolina outshoots everybody because they shoot from everywhere.
That's right.
That's their MO.
That's right.
They just chuck pucks from the whatever. Just get it to the net.
Darlings.
That's their plan.
The darlings of the league.
Right. That's why their numbers always look good, and then the playoffs get here and they don't win. At least not. They don't go far. I'm sure.
I mean, opinions are welcome on this, like how to play it.
Well,
if they keep rotating, it's easy. This is what has worked.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's used to it. We trust both guys. And, okay, give me any playoff scenario from the beginning. They win the opener 3-0. Who plays game 2? The other guy plays game 2? Then he loses. Then he's gone. He's dead. I mean, or just then they win game 3 with the first guy and they go back to the other guy in game. Nope.
No, not usually.
Just nope.
Right? That's not
That's not going to happen.
Right.
So eventually they're going to break that. That's the point, isn't it? Eventually they break the cycle.
Yes. I think
it's a question of when and on whose terms.
It would be way too easy, way too much of a joyride for them to get into the playoffs after having not been there for 14 years and have it go smoothly enough that they can just keep rotating goalies every other game. I mean, it just never happens that way. So I'd be surprised, but again, like, there might be a clue within these last 11 games about their intentions. You mentioned how bad do you want first place, right? We talked a lot in the last couple of days, couple of shows anyway, getting back even to last week, about Metsä and Stanley. Like, oh, okay, third pair is stabilized. This looks good, right? Paul will tell you with authority, Metsä's their number 5 defenseman.
Is he coming out?
Guess who's coming out tonight, right? Timmins is healthy. What are they doing here? My guess is they know what Mets is capable of now. They know if they get an injury in the top 4, I'm almost guaranteeing he's the guy that goes in. Any one of those 4 guys goes out, he goes in that spot.
Metsä.
Maybe not Dahlin, but Samuelsson, Power, or Byram, I feel like unquestionably that's what's going to happen. So they know what they've got there. They've tried him out with other guys. They've tried him against better competition, so they know. What they don't know, right, if there's an injury, what is Timmins? And what is Timmins with Stanley? So tonight is a little bit of a kind of like what you and Shen played with Stanley. You could be fearful of what those results would be, and you were largely correct to be fearful because it didn't go well. We'll see what Timmins gives them tonight with Stanley and how Stanley reacts to not being with Metsä. But all they're doing to me is trying to figure out what they got to do when and if someone gets hurt.
I'm okay there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes sense to want to see it, but you don't just get to Game 3 of the second round. Like, oh, Power's missing. What do we do? Like, well,
and nobody in our bench has played in a month,
right?
Or 2 months.
So I think that's
and 4 months.
Yeah, Timmins has been a very, very long time.
I'm okay there. I mean, I think it's just not. It's still hockey. It's not Josh Allen. It's still not consequential enough for it to be a big scene. Mm-hmm. And there's also, I think, no reason to question Ruff on Metsä from how he's talked.
Right. I don't think he's being punished.
No.
Or they know what he is, and they know what he's capable of. Obviously, the Big Four are their meal ticket, but I think they trust that he can step in there. So let's give him a night off, and let's see what Timmins does with Stanley. Maybe another game. I don't know if this will, I don't think you want to necessarily sit Metsä for games in a row here, but at some point they will probably do the same thing with Kesselring. They've already done it with Shen. I think they know what Shen is, and, it didn't go great. So hopefully they don't get to the point where they got to worry about using him. But Kesselring and Timmins are both, competent, easily. Kesselring was supposed to be a top 4 guy.
Yep.
He was basically supposed to replace Samuelsson before Samuelsson showed up and just took the season by storm this year. So let's see what Timmins and Stanley can do just in case we need, again, to get there. If it happens, it's a long road here. Anything could happen. You're playing Zadorov tonight. I mean, he could knee job somebody, and then you're stuck. So they're just trying, I think, to figure out who's who. I don't take tonight as a troubling sign at all for Metsä. In fact, I think it's a compliment.
I don't know Tampa's depth well enough to know if there is a comp with them. They've won a lot more. They've been in the playoffs every year and gone far. Like, they're not a team where they'd have to sort of like think, all right, how are we going to react to the playoffs? And maybe the Sabres shouldn't think that way either. I feel like probably they shouldn't because games are games. But, everybody talks like the playoffs are different. I wonder if Tampa has a little bit of an easier time navigating the end game than maybe the Sabres would. But so far I'm fine with everything. Like, if they want to mix up, take in a couple of guys, they're going to play Wednesday, Friday, Saturday here. The schedule is still compacted. Like, you want to try different things out like they have been doing? Okay. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to criticize them for it. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at Roswell Park. The ride for Roswell officially opens, launches,
This is a
starts.
kickoff event.
We're not riding today.
Right, no.
But
the ride
it's the
is
kickoff event.
3 months from Friday is the ride, I think. Right, today's the 25th? 27th. Yes. Yeah, so June 27th. 3 months from Friday.
I won't even be to the dentist by then.
No? Wow. That's
It's
right.
that close.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'll have 2 more haircuts by then.
At least. Unless I trade with you for an eye appointment or something. I'll throw in a fifth.
I do need an eye appointment.
I'll throw eye appointment and a fifth for your haircut. Chris Trapasso at 4. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. for today to be the day, but it's not. Friday. And they have a 50-degree guarantee. So if you go to the game and it's not 50 degrees at first pitch, you get like a free ticket to a future game. You know what the high is?
I saw earlier in the week 43 maybe.
34.
34? It's that bad? Wow.
Would they play? If it's 34 and sunny, do they play?
That's tough.
Low of 22. So you'll have frost.
We got conflicting.
Friday?
I got 44 here for Friday. But
Come on.
Yeah.
How?
I don't know. Is that the island?
No, it's not the island.
In the water. I wasn't being judgmental. It's just the water.
See this B word up here?
Yeah,
Buffalo.
I see. Yeah. All right.
It's where we are.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
What do you? It looks like the same font and everything else. What is that?
I don't know.
You have Friday at 44.
Yeah.
It's still not 50.
Right. 80% chance of showers too. By the way.
Friday.
That's what this says.
I've got no chance of showers. Wow. Controversy.
I don't know what to do about this.
Controversy about
I don't
the
know.
forecast apps.
Now, hang on. We got to go. All right. I have another weather app somewhere.
Stay tuned. Chris Trapasso next on WGR.
Game night for the Buffalo Sabres, 7:30 puck drop, 6:30 pregame as they play host to Boston. For television purposes, this is a TNT HBO game, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. Some notes for tonight. Matthias Samuelsson is considered a game-time decision. He missed practice yesterday with an illness, but was out there this morning for the optional skate. Connor Timmins appears to be going into the lineup in place of Zach Metsa, and all signs do point to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start in net. We'll get confirmation on all of that as we get closer to puck drop. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Unlike last night, just one other game in the NHL. It's the Rangers at the Maple Leafs. That game also gets underway at 7:30. And the Tampa Bay Lightning did announce that defenseman Victor Hedman is going to be taking a temporary leave of absence from the team for personal reasons. We did get schedule news in the NFL. The Seattle Seahawks are going to be opening the season on Wednesday, September 9th at 8:20. Their opponent is still to be determined. And on Thursday, September 10th, that is going to be the Melbourne game in Australia between the Rams and 49ers. And then baseball is back. MLB opening night is tonight. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees face Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp
We were having a very serious conversation about mayonnaise here.
and the Bulldog
And don't even talk to me about weed.
on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. Last year for this event, the launch of the Ride for Roswell ride coming up in the Ride for Roswell ride, by the way, I just did, coming up in a few months.
June 27th. Yep.
Chris Trapasso made an appearance.
Right. I was in Puerto Rico.
You were in Des Moines.
I was
Here
I
with
was
Sal
away.
and with Chris, and he stopped by. Chris, you might have given us an hour that day. Does that sound right?
I think so. I think I made the trip up to Buffalo, or down to Buffalo, I should say, coming from Medina, and we had a great time. And obviously that's one of the best endeavors that I think Western New York gets all together for every year, that ride to Roswell.
It is a tremendous event. It's be 6 years for me now, this June, and I'm telling you, I wish I had been doing it for my entire adult life. It really is a well-run event, and it feels good, and it's a bike ride. I ride my bike 30 miles at a time, so no big deal. So it's not taxing, and it's just well organized, well run. It's a great event, and it raises a crap ton of money every year. So it's
like
awesome.
Tens of millions have been raised.
It's really great.
We'll talk about that more later this hour. But with Chris on the line, we have to talk about the upcoming NFL draft, less than a month away. And Chris, just to sort of start from a broader perspective, what's new in the last week or two in terms of the draft discourse? I know we have this is what happens, right? We have
Ty Simpson.
We have Ty Simpson. We have Dan Orlovsky pumping the tires for Ty Simpson. I don't know. Is there anything that matters happening right now there has to be in the conversation?
It's probably that, although if you're saying does it matter, it probably won't end up mattering in terms of where they're picked. I think Mendoza has been locked into that number one overall pick since the college football playoff, essentially, even if Indiana didn't win. But my takeaway from Dan Orlovsky saying that he likes Ty Simpson more is, first off, I don't think that Dan Orlovsky is doing it for any ulterior motive reasons. I think he is someone that is obviously very well-positioned and is in a huge spotlight at ESPN, but I've never gotten the sense that he is bound to go down the path of the Skip Bayless or the Stephen A. Smith and just push things out there for clicks and for traffic. I really think he's doing the evaluations. But for me, what I think was most fascinating about that is it's very rare to see a legitimate analyst do what Orlovsky did. So maybe that's just speaking to him, but I think it's more so Mendoza is just not that spectacular of a number one overall pick where he is ripe to be kind of leapfrogged, at least in the mind of a very prominent analyst. You didn't see that really that much even with Caleb Williams, who had Drake May and Jaden Daniels in his class. You didn't see it in the Joe Burrow class. I remember way back in the day, and I'm sure you guys do too, I remember a late push for, hey, are the Colts going to really pick RG3 over Andrew Luck? And it was like, no, Andrew Luck is definitely a better prospect.
Yeah.
I think Mendoza, because he would probably not be the number one overall pick in many draft classes over the last 20 years, that is why this Ty Simpson conversation is actually gaining getting some legs, and there's maybe some ground being made up there, because Mendoza is good and he had a spectacular season, but in terms of traits and projecting to the NFL, again, I don't think in most classes he would be the locked in first pick.
I haven't done the requisite legwork here to know where Orlovsky, how he's positioning this. I mean, I saw the ESPN studio clip, and I know he was on the McAfee show, and McAfee went after him about having the same agent maybe as Ty Simpson, like same agency anyway, CAA. But what I'm wondering is Orlovsky asserting that GMs, like personnel people he's talking to, prefer Simpson, or is it simply his analysis? I'm watching, I've watched Mendoza, I've watched Simpson, and I think Simpson's better, and this is why. You know what I'm saying? Like, is he telling you what he's hearing as much as what he thinks?
Well, for sure, and I think that's kind of like a tricky line for the Dan Orlovskys and the Daniel Jeremiahs and even the Mel Kipers that are super plugged in, where they're probably getting texts and having conversations with actual decision makers all the time. I think they probably do need to come out and say, like, this is kind of sort of based on or factoring in what I'm hearing, or no, this is just strictly my analysis. And I can't say that I've heard every single word that Orlovsky has said on this topic, but what I originally heard on Get Up was just him saying, I think his film is better than Fernando Mendoza's. So it came off like it was former quarterback doing the film evaluation. And I do think, too, though, that it probably does speak to the fact that it wouldn't be crazy if there are some teams out there that actually view Simpson as a better prospect, which, again, goes back to my point just a minute ago, that I think Mendoza is great, but he is not, like, untouchable in terms of how good he is as a quarterback prospect in this draft.
It also wouldn't be crazy for a GM of a team picking 12th, say, or maybe 20th, to pump up the other quarterback just in the hope of getting one more good player to fall to them. Like that, 100%. That's not unprecedented, right?
Not at all. And, I mean, from a maybe more serious angle, like I remember when Jalen Carter went to the Eagles, and before his press conference at the Combine, like within minutes that he was scheduled to speak, the news was broke that he had all that off-field, like the car incident at Georgia, and everyone in the media room there in Indy was like, this, I mean, is serious and it needs to be taken seriously, but the timing of it was super fishy, like that there was a team saying, hey, we want him to fall to us. If there's another, so again, that was serious. It was, the legal side of things, but to what you're pointing out, I think that makes a ton of sense, because if there's two quarterbacks in the top 20, then the teams in the top 20 and teams like the Bills outside of it are happy, because there's either a skill position player or an edge rusher or a safety that slips one position further than he probably should have been.
I think it's actually kind of similar to last year, where you had Ward at 1 that not everybody loved, but he was the best, and he was the consensus best. And the second quarterback who went was Jackson Dart at 25. That might be around the range where you could expect Simpson. And does it ring a bell for anybody, whether the Seahawks did this last year or the Steelers? Not that they put their name on it, but maybe there was like Jackson Dart buzz, and, oh, wait, he's a first-round pick. He ultimately was. The Giants made a trade up to take him in the first round. I think probably, Chris, somebody does that for Simpson.
Yeah.
I mean, he's prominent enough.
Yeah, I agree. I think whether it's, yes, the occurrence is common enough, whether it's the Jets at 16, whether it's, I think, in Field Yates, correct me if I'm wrong, in his mock draft, he had actually the Cardinals trading up with the Bills, trading back from, what would it be, the second pick in the second round all the way up to 26 to pick Jackson Dart, or to pick Ty Simpson, excuse me. So, yeah, it does feel like anywhere from pick 16 to the last pick in the first round, that's where it feels like Ty Simpson will ultimately go. But I will say, different concept somewhat. We all were convinced that Shedeur Sanders was going to be a first-rounder last year, and he didn't get picked until the fifth round. Obviously, the personality, the baggage was also factoring in, but we've certainly seen some of those hyped-up quarterbacks that ultimately aren't first-rounders. But I think this hype is early enough where it's not so telegraphed, like the night before the draft where you hear buzz for a Derek Carr or a Bryce Petty, and they ultimately aren't first-round picks. I think this is early enough and coming from enough prominent analysts that he will be one of the first picks, or one of the picks in the first 32 selections in this draft.
What do you think about the two of them? I'm sure we've talked about Mendoza. I don't feel like I've heard you might have brought up Simpson with Mike one day when I wasn't around. Because I think
Chris thinks I'm a Simpson guy.
He remembered you liking him back in the fall or something.
I watched one game.
And that can be sticky. So how about
maybe I am.
You on both of these guys, Chris?
So for Fernando Mendoza, I have him compared to what I'm calling advanced Kirk Cousins. Like if Kirk Cousins came into the NFL today, what you would expect: a little bit bigger, a little bit more athleticism, a little more toughness, but the arm strength, pretty accurate but not hyper accurate, understands where to go with the football in most situations, a little skittish in the pocket, and is not someone that has a wow trait, doesn't have the big arm, isn't a crazy athlete, but just really ticks a lot of the boxes, and I think is a pretty pro-ready quarterback, but doesn't have like immense upside. As for Ty Simpson, my comparison for him is Jacoby Brissett, in that he can just be, I guess in the right situation with the right infrastructure around him, he can be a mid-level starter, and kind of like Jacoby Brissett, at times you're like, oh, okay, the arm strength is pretty good. And at times Ty Simpson can escape the pocket and make some plays with his legs, but you're not going to necessarily lean on him as a scrambler or in the designed run game. So I know it's not really exciting to have those comparisons for the top two quarterbacks, but that's just really how I see them. And it's really the second year in a row where at the top, the quarterback class is a little blah relative to what it was, obviously, in 24 with Williams, May, and Daniels. And even in 23, like there was a fair amount of hype, obviously, around Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and then Anthony Richardson was kind of late into the process. So I think we're just in for the second straight year where the quarterback class is not really anchoring the discussion this year.
Last thing on quarterbacks, and then I'll move off it because I know it's not all that super interesting to our Bills fans audience. Is there a guy somewhere in here that you think is a interesting flyer, developmental type guy?
Yeah, Cole Payton from North Dakota State. My comparison for him is actually Malik Willis, who I liked a lot in 2022. Wasn't picked until the third round. I could see Cole Payton going somewhere in that range. He's a lefty, so it kind of is like weird watching him on film at North Dakota State in that dome. But in terms of running ability, look at his combine workout. It was one of the best workouts that we've seen like ever at the quarterback spot. And he wants to run with the football. Maybe sometimes passes up open receivers to be a runner, but he does have high caliber athleticism. And at North Dakota State, they let him just chuck the football down the field. And he made a lot of pinpoint accurate throws deep. So I think, like you're saying, flyer, third, fourth, fifth round at the quarterback spot, with the right coaching that will teach him to get the ball out of his hands a little quicker, but still be a really ferocious runner and a very athletic runner, along with those teardrops deep. I think Cole Payton, not Cade Klubnik necessarily, or Garrett Nussmeier, the other names from the big time programs. Cole Payton from NDSU, I think, is the most fascinating flyer at quarterback.
Day two, Chris, or no?
He could be a third rounder. I wouldn't be shocked just because the combine was that good. And last season, again, you're watching him against South Dakota State and Montana and stuff like that, but the film is crazy good. Like the amount of throws that you see him drop in the bucket it's very frequent. And then you throw in how good of a runner and how good he tested. If he's a third round pick, I wouldn't be totally stunned, but I think he probably lands on the third day.
I know I said last thing, but now you mentioned Willis in the course of talking about this player. Like, does Willis breaking through as he did late in the season and then getting the contract he got, imitation. Maybe, oh, hey, there's similar traits. Maybe we can, steal a guy here and stash him, and he can become something in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, that's a great question, and I think it does help him because Malik Willis, when he was at Tennessee, the coaching was bad, the roster was bad, and the coach was really, like, from Vrabel to the Callahan, who were there, like, just railed on the fact that he wasn't getting the ball out of his hands quickly. He was missing open receivers. I think Cole Payton will have that similar problem. But as we saw in a much better, more quarterback-friendly environment last season in Green Bay, the last 2 seasons, a lot of play action, a lot of structured, schemed open throws, and then you add in, it's 3rd and 6, and he can run for 20 yards, or he can drop it in the bucket deep down the field because of his arm strength. That's kind of how I view Cole Payton. He might not have quite the arm that Willis has, but I think that is, you mentioned traits. That's absolutely what Cole Payton has. I think as much, if not more, than any other quarterback in this class.
Chris Trapasso with us, draftgradebook.com. Today is the Ohio State Pro Day. We've had a couple pretty high-profile ones already. I've read that Brandon Beane and Joe Brady are both in Columbus. Or do they have theirs in, like, Florida, like the Bills would do, where they go on the yacht? Do they actually have their Pro Day at their campus? They should.
I think they do. Yeah.
Who is the name to watch there in terms of the Bills, if there is one?
There's one that's a little bit scary to me, Caden McDonald, who I have as the 3rd best interior defensive lineman in this class. But why I'm saying scary is because he's a tremendous run defender. There's a case that he's the best run defender in the class at the position. Just power, can stack and shed blocks really well, doesn't miss a ton of tackles. But he is not a pass rusher. He is someone that barely was registering pressures, 20, 30 pressures a season at Ohio State was like the maximum for him. And it's scary because to me, even at 26, if you get the world's best run defender, that's great, but I just don't think you're getting the correct value on the position. You need a pass rusher. If you're picking him anywhere in the first round, whether it's an edge, really, or certainly an interior defensive lineman. I know the run defense was a problem, and they didn't sign, or they have not signed, that veteran defensive tackle. But Caden McDonald, I think that's a round where he probably, or at least right now, is expected to be picked. And it's someone that wouldn't say I would give it an F grade, but I think there's just very minimal upside to his game. He is a little younger, but I would want someone that is more of a finished product as a pass rusher if the Bills ultimately go interior defensive line in the first round.
What does the name Peter Woods do for you? Defensive tackle, Clemson. How do they compare the two?
So Peter Woods is a bigger, longer, not as stocky defensive tackle. He reminds me of, do you guys remember Robert Kamdiche, who went like 26, I think? He was like this number 1 recruit in the country, didn't really maximize himself at Clemson or at Ole Miss, and then kind of flamed out after being a late first-round pick. That's kind of how I view Peter Woods. I think the better range for Peter Woods is Jaron Reed, who a long time ago, like 10 years ago, was rumored to be high on the Bills board. I think this was in the Doug Whaley era, who was just an awesome run defender. And you see on film, both with Jaron Reed, Robert Kamdiche, and certainly Peter Woods, you see 3 or 4 plays where you're like, oh, I can see why he was like one of the biggest recruits in the country. But then he kind of disappears for the next 2 series. So he's someone where if the Bills believe that their coaching staff, the defensive line coach, all their assistants can get the most out of him, he has extreme upside, but is someone that I was just he kind of, for me, I kind of left watching his film with a little bit more that I wish that I saw from him. So he's someone that I think is kind of the opposite of Caden McDonald, where you know what you're getting with McDonald, and Woods is a little bit more of an enigma as a prospect.
All right.
Is there a defensive lineman, whether it's a nose tackle, maybe the Bills should be in the market for that, right? Right now, maybe Deion Walker projects as that, and I don't love that for them because I feel like Walker can do more than just, Ted Washington, eat up 2 guys for you. I think you're sort of neutralizing his best traits, which are, overpowering and getting into the backfield. Is there a player out there? I feel like we've talked about this each of the last few years, even though the Bills weren't playing a 3-4. And that's usually sort of like you're saying about this Ohio State player. If you can't get to the quarterback, wait until Saturday if you want to pick 350-pound eat-up blockers guy.
Yeah, there's a few. Darryl Jackson Jr. is a name to remember for that exact range, whether it's I think maybe pick 91 would be a little early for him, but Darryl Jackson Jr. from Florida State, like 6'5", 320, incredibly strong, really good run defender, and gives you some pass rush. He's not, I don't think, that much worse than Caden McDonald, and like you're saying, you could probably get him in the fourth round or later. He's one, and then Lee Hunter from Texas Tech did not test very well. It's like 6'4", 320, and looks like Vince Wilfork out there. He is your classic nose tackle that actually was a pretty productive pass rusher on that awesome Texas Tech defensive line last season. And I think that could be the player, and I feel like I bring this up every interview, where if the Bills draft Lee Hunter, it'll be the Brandon Beane quote of, I'm glad he tested badly because we were able to get him in the fourth or the fifth round. So those two, Darryl Jackson and Lee Hunter, if we're really trying to factor in the specific need, the big body, the run stuffing ability, and their likelihood to be available maybe even into Saturday, those are the two that I have circled if the Bills want to address that nose tackle spot later in the draft.
So Ohio State, it's not Carnell Tate for the Bills probably?
Well, I mean, yes, it is, but I don't think – I mean, even though he ran – like, I didn't see what he ran today yet, but, yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if he's not a top half of the first-round pick.
Yeah, me too.
Mike and I disagreed briefly on safety. Like, I basically eliminated safety from first-round consideration after the C.J. Gardner-Johnson signing and then Geno Stone on top of that. But Mike made the right point back to me. Like, those are both one-year things. It's not like you don't have a future starter next to Cole Bishop necessarily. So, I don't know. Do you think that could still be a need? And I know there's an Ohio State safety, but, again, will he last to 26? I don't know.
Dante Whitner.
Yeah. Not Dante Whitner, not nightmares of Dante Whitner. Yeah, I mean, Caleb Downs is going to be probably a top half of the first-round pick, too. I don't think it completely takes it off the board just because the safety class is so good. We talked about Dylan Thieneman, Caleb Downs. I love Jalen Husky from Maryland. There's a Toledo guy that's kind of the MAC version of Nick Manworry. It just feels like if they had a second-round pick still, that would be the sweet spot for them to pick that player to be the long-term answer at the position. But at this stage, I think if they do add one, it will probably be later in the draft. But are they preparing for, 5 receivers to be off the board and, all of the top 3-4 outside rush linebackers like a Cassius Howell and TJ Parker from Clemson? Maybe. And at that stage, the class is so good that if they picked an Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, it probably wouldn't be universally praised, but really, really good prospects across the board at that position.
Dante Whitner recently turned 40, by the way. I'm not sure if that lines up with your sensibilities, but just 40.
Yeah.
Here's a name.
That draft was my senior year of high school, and I remember we all wanted Haloti Ngata, and when they picked Dante Whitner, it was just bad. It was not a good response. It was one of those nightmare responses that Bills fans. Now, obviously, Josh Allen falls into that category too, but he's obviously been arguably the best player in franchise history. But Dante Whitner was one that really sticks out in 2006 over Haloti Ngata. Yeah,
Dante Whitner, Michael Huff. You weren't supposed to pick safeties early in the first round, but teams dared to do it.
In the draft, I think. Yeah,
maybe.
Very early.
Quick linebacker name for you, Chris. C.J. Allen out of Georgia. I see him on a underdog mock draft to the Bills today. You like it?
I wouldn't love it.
The size says it all.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to come on here, and it sounds like I'm not fun at parties, which I promise I am. But Allen, I think, is a very solid prospect. I don't think that at this point that would be the best position for the Bills to address in the first round, and it seems like probably at pick 26 into the early stages of round 2 is his range to go. So to pick a linebacker where you're not getting that financial boost, where the top of the position, off-ball linebacker, is not making $35, $40 million a year, that and the fact that I think he's good in coverage, not tremendous in coverage. I think he's a pretty good athlete. He's not a freaky athlete. I would be reasonably underwhelmed, although coming from Georgia with his career that he had playing under Kirby Smart, I think the floor is reasonably high. I don't think this would be Eric Flowers 2.0 where he'd be off the team in a couple seasons, but I would have obviously, without knowing who was still available, I would probably be underwhelmed with that pick at 26.
Okay. Boy, I mean, Dante Whitner's off the hook. Now we have Eric Flowers.
They're all catching shade. I'm sorry.
Whitner had a pretty good career.
Can I get a John McCargo from the back, please?
Oh, baby.
Oh, nice.
Now we're just revving up. Thank you, Chris. DraftGradeBook.com. Anything else you want to bring up?
No, that's it. I'm just going to be adding prospects to my website, Draft Gradebook. Like Monday or Tuesday of every week, I'll do like 10 to 15 new prospects that I'm trying to watch. So just, I would say, head there for my takes, whether you believe them or trust them or not, but I'll certainly have a lot of them out there. I'm at like 155 prospects, and I'm trying to get as close to 250 or 300 as I can get before the draft in a month.
Very good. Hard worker. Thank you, Chris, for your time.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
Chris Trapasso, Wednesdays with us leading up to the NFL draft. We have 3 or maybe even 4 weeks to go. April 23rd is round 1.
Yeah.
Of course, we'll be talking about the Sabres, so
right.
We'll need Chris more than ever.
Yeah. He's got to steer me towards these people because I'm like, Ohio State's got a safety.
And how good am I? I mentioned Dante Whitner.
I should do a little better than that.
He's 20 years ago to the number, I think. Do you have a guy yet?
Not really.
Okay.
I really I of the guys that have been taught, like, it's a time of year where different guys have a day with the fan base, it seems like, right? Like a lot of analysts will talk about one guy for one day because, whatever, it just sort of feeds itself. I did enjoy Casey Concepcion Day the other day.
We had that.
I would say that was Monday, I think. And right now, and I really like Sal on him and just on the idea of receiver at 26, sort of building that case back up. Because I kind of forgot that I was saying leading up to free agency, I think you got to do 2 big things, not just one. Because if you do just one big thing, you're still kind of counting on Keon Coleman. And so I like that I was sort of reminded of that. And Concepcion was a reasonable idea there, so that might be my favorite idea as of now.
803-0550 for yours. Coming up in about 20 minutes, Dr. Candace Johnson, the president and CEO here at Roswell Park. The launch event for the Ride for Roswell is today. And if you are a rider, it opens at 5. You probably know more than I will be able to tell you about today's event. Maybe you've been here in other years too, but there will be a crowd here within the hour. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog. Lines are open. This is WGR.
Game night tonight for the Buffalo Sabres. It's a 7:30 puck drop, 6:30 pregame tonight as they do play host to the Boston Bruins. For TV purposes, it is a TNT HBO game, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. Some lineup notes for tonight. Matthias Samuelsson is considered a game-time decision after missing practice yesterday with an illness. He was out there, though, this morning for the optional skate. And then Connor Timmins, he appears to be going into the lineup in place of Zach Metsa. And then in terms of the goalie, all signs pointing to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start in net. We'll get confirmation on all of that as we get closer to puck drop. And the Sabres Injury Report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. There's just one other game tonight. It is the Rangers at the Maple Leafs. It also will get underway at 7:30. And the Lightning did announce that Victor Hedman is going to be taking a temporary leave of absence from the team for personal reasons. And then we do have some scheduled news in the NFL. The Seahawks will open the season on Wednesday, September 9th at 8:20. Their opponent is, of course, still to be determined, while that traditional Thursday opener, September 10th, is going to be the game in Melbourne between the Rams and the 49ers. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for West New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
So why should the Bills consider drafting Caden McDonald? My goodness, he's big, he's powerful, he's physical. He's got a stout anchor, and you're not going to move him with a single block, I'll tell you that. And he's got that ability to really squeeze down gaps and leverage and just make lanes disappear when defending the run. And for a guy that is 326 pounds, the lateral movement skills, the change of direction ability in tight quarters is really impressive. And I think that's where you see some of the production show up. Is he's a big dude. I mean, this is truly a dancing bear here.
Joe Marino loves this Thompson. Chris Trapasso, not so much. Fight, 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 fight. Let's go. I don't have a guy yet. Concepcion, I mean, I just.
What about Ty Simpson?
Nope. What about Jeremiah Love? I just, not 100%. Couldn't see the Bills drafting a receiver there, but I think it's defense.
I think it probably is too. But like I just said 10 minutes ago, I like sort of that Sale ostensibly poked me in the chest. I mean, he didn't say, hey, Bulldog, weren't you saying back in February that they should do – but it was like without poking me, without even being confrontational about it at all, just sharing an opinion, I'm like, wait a minute, yeah, I did think that. like yeah, let's get back to that. They need to do something more. It's a little, it's a little on brand too, I guess, receiver. So – but for now, that's my favorite idea.
Trade down and take both. Easy game. Come on. Speaking of games.
Go on.
You have something?
Oh, I do have something, yeah. I'm not sure why I did this, but I went looking for all-time Sabres skaters, no goaltenders. Skating players, games played in the playoffs, like who's played the most, who's the all-time Sabre playoff games played leaders, and so I have that, and I think there's some pretty obvious ones. I've got 1 through 20 here. I guess I'm not sure if I can click and go further.
What's the number on top?
The number on top is 90 games.
Interesting.
And I will tell you 10th place, I think try to frame it here, 10th place is 61 games.
Playoff games played by a Sabre.
Right.
Ramsey. Both Ramseys.
Craig Ramsey is second with 89. Mike Ramsey is sixth with 72.
Okay. Gilbert is probably right.
He's one.
90?
90, right.
I want to hone in on the late 90s because those are multiple rounds 3 years in a row and 4 out of 5. So like a Zhitnik would show up on this list.
Zhitnik is seventh with 70 playoff games
Schmelik
played.
would be on this list.
Schmelik is third with 83.
Yeah. Who else do you like that was on all those teams? Curtis Brown? Not quite?
No. I would tell you.
Too young.
Yeah, right.
0-1, he scores an overtime goal, but he's not on the Nolan team.
Right.
Pekka.
Pekka is not in the top 20.
Interesting. 97-89 wasn't long enough?
Yeah, that's it. Right.
Then he's gone.
Right.
I mean, 2000
he plays
they played
in
around.
2005, 5 games or
5 games
against Philly.
Yep.
And then that's the end of that for him. Yeah. There's only one other name that is around the 90s and even beyond that.
Siplikov.
So there is no one else from like 98, 99,
okay.
like that era. You said Schmelik, you said
Zhitnik.
There's one other guy that I'm not sure he's on 98, 99, but he's here and then back again later. And he's 10th. The rest are all pre that, like 70s, little 80s.
It's not
maybe.
Campbell.
No.
Here and then back again?
Here and then back again. That's the key.
Oh, I should know that then. Like back for 06, 07?
Or
back for 01?
Back for 01. Yeah, back for 01.
Actually, Dumont crosses from 01 to 6-7, but sorry.
Yeah.
Who is it?
Donald Audette is 10th.
Oh, okay.
He is 10th.
Audette was on those teams that lost, too, like 94, 95. He would have been on those teams.
Yep. Curtis Brown, by the way, was 17th with 52. I didn't say it. I was looking for Pekka, but anyway, so he's not. You weren't that far off.
I need the 70s. I need Bill Height.
You need Bill Height, who was 4th with 80. Yes.
Then I need French Connection, maybe. Rick and Rennie?
Not Rene. Rick is 9th with 62.
How many are left? Couple?
There are 2 names left here. You said both
5th and 8th?
Ramseys, right? 5th and 8th. Yeah, very good.
Is this bad if I don't get it?
No,
Don Luce.
Don Luce is correct. Yes, Don Luce is 8th with 62. You got one name left.
Through 80, probably like 74 to 80.
Like first playoff games they ever played until 80.
Danny?
Nope.
Too young.
Right, Danny would have missed like 73.
The beginning.
Yeah. This guy was on the team in 73 and is not on the team. Well, I don't want to say.
He's on the 80 team?
I believe yes. I'm trying to think of when if I say anything else, I'm going to give it to you. I'm trying to think of when a certain famous trade happened.
Schoenfeld,
right. Schoenfeld.
Very good. That was fun.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I love a game.
Yeah. I think I came across maybe
Meatballs.
Sabres Classics or Sabres. I don't know. Somebody was messing around with all-time playoff games played, and I thought, I'm going to go find a chart, and I just kept it open in my browser, and there we go. It served its purpose.
I held my own.
Yep.
We'll take a break from Roswell Park. The Ride for Roswell launch event is coming up here in just a few minutes. Sabres and Bruins tonight, 6:30 pregame. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR. Back to Roswell Park. The Ride for Roswell launch event is today. The ride itself is June 27th. Our very own, the Bulldog, is a staple in the ride. And with us now to celebrate Bulldog and the whole thing, wine is being poured. You know it's close. Dr. Candace Johnson, President and CEO here at Roswell Park, no longer on the list of one-timers on our show, Bulldog, because she's been on now numerous times. Multiple.
It's exciting.
So you're off that list with Gary Sinise. It's a good company. You're on a different list now. Thank you, as always, for your hospitality and your generosity. And what a day.
What a day. So, this is the 31st Ride for Roswell. And so we're very excited for it. And it's going to be wonderful. There are 9 routes to choose from. You can ride 3 miles. You can ride 100 miles. So it's great. So there's an option for everybody.
And I said earlier, Candace, that it's only 6 years, so staple is a little liberal here. I just saw Mitch Flynn walk in, and he's like the founding father of the
He's a staple.
Yeah, you could be a staple. Hi, Mitch.
But so it's only been 6 years, but I wish it was 30.
Yeah.
Because
I know it's a phenomenal ride.
I mean, I've taken part in a variety of different things over the years, and it's just so well run.
Oh my goodness, it is.
I mean, it's seamless, and it's thousands of people all over the place. All over Western New York in one day, and I mean, just the volunteers, it's massive, the operation.
And you guys were at the start, many of you. I don't know if you personally were there, but Sal was there, and we had so much fun. And, watching the people ride off.
I was one of the people riding off.
Yes.
I go at 6:45 or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm like,
it's
first out.
It's very emotion-packed, and it's wonderful. And anybody out there who would like to ride, please register, because it fills up. And that way you can start fundraising. This year there's a $200 fundraising minimum for riders over 16. So it's, these funds are really critical for us. They provide seed funding for many of the incredible things that we do here. Our cellular therapy program, we have the largest facility in the country to produce these cells. We recruited Rainier Brenchens here from Memorial Sloan Kettering.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a superstar.
We met him.
Yes. The brain tumor vaccine. I don't know if you've met Mike Shashilsky or Dr. Fenstermaker, but they're remarkable. He has a vaccine that is already marching through to potentially get FDA approval, and has shown survival difference for people with brain tumors. I don't know if you've ever known anyone that's had a brain tumor, but it's not it's not a good outcome many times. And so this is a really significant finding that we have. So lots of things that this money goes for, and we just couldn't do it without the ride.
Yeah, sign up to ride. Sign up to ride with us.
Yes.
Team WGR. I don't know if I saw you on Ride Day last year. I can't remember, but there was a gentleman who came to town from Tennessee.
Really?
To ride with us. Like Bills fan, relocated and heard us talking about it and said, you know what, I'm going up there. And I mean, it was just what a compliment to us, the station, but also to the ride.
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, the men of GR, everybody knows you guys. I mean, if you go to my car right now, turn it on. It's on 550.
Can you start it like on your phone or something probably, and we can just test that?
No, I can't. It's an old Audi, so no, I can't do that.
I believe you.
But I love you guys.
RideForRoswell.org. You're closing in on $100 million raised.
I know. So, we've raised more than $86 million. But our goal is to reach $100 million, and we think we can do that by 2027, but you never know. You just never know what may happen. But $100 million is incredible. I mean, think of all that we have done with those monies since we've been able to raise it. We've been able to recruit the finest in the country here that move their families to Buffalo, and they bring their labs and their whole troops with them. And the wonderful discoveries that have happened from these funds. It's really remarkable.
This is a big event here today. I'm sure a lot of the riders are excited to sort of be here together with each other and celebrate the beginning of spring. Nice day.
Yeah, I know. It's great.
Wine over here. You've got a panel coming up. The research matters.
Yes.
So there's also. It's a combination of like the celebration and the party aspect of it, but also there's a new message.
Yeah, and that's really good because like we've had the benefit through our affiliation with the station to learn a lot. Like we've taken tours with different doctors and seen the labs and a lot of the research that's going on. But a lot of people don't have that opportunity. No. This panel discussion is an opportunity to find out a little bit more. If you're curious,
exactly.
like in depth, like what's the money? What am I raising money for?
Because, the term research matters is so important, because I don't think people realize there are a lot of people alive today because of the treatments that come out of the research that comes out of cancer centers like Roswell Park. And it's because of the research that we have cures, we detect things earlier, we have better treatments. So research really matters, and we're all about that, and this panel is going to talk about that, so it'll be fun.
You know what I need on my phone? I mean, your car, you say you don't have the automatic starter.
Yeah.
But I need something where I can start the car. I have that.
Yep.
But I need to be able to change the radio station before my kids get in it.
Yeah, there you go.
That would be a good function.
That would be good. That would be good.
Well, this is such a great day.
It is a great day.
And Chris has been such a passionate part of this event and this whole enterprise. So it's a special day in more ways than one.
It is. And, cancer touches all of us. There's no one that it doesn't touch. There's no one that isn't have a loved one or someone that's struggling with this terrible disease. And so it takes all of us. And that when you go to the ride and you see all these people that are here, from little kids to, people in their 80s, and they're riding, and they've got T-shirts on with grandma or their aunt or their child or something. I mean,
right.
You're a tough cookie if you don't get a tear in your eye. I'm telling you.
Yeah, no, for sure. One of my favorite parts of the whole day, like I mentioned, we go out at 6:45. We come rolling back in around, 9:45, 10 o'clock maybe. Yeah. And the volume of people in all kinds of, little kids with bikes on training wheels. Yes. You've got, professional cyclist-looking people, and just all everything in between.
The gamut, exactly.
It's really, really quite something to see coming back in.
It really is.
All that activity going.
Yep.
We only have a few seconds, but can you believe the Sabres?
I cannot believe the Sabres. It's playoff time, baby. That's what I'm saying.
All right.
I can't wait.
It's very much
goodness.
on the horizon.
It is.
And it's
so
really
exciting.
happening. It's really happening.
I know.
Yep.
I know.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Thank you so much. Love you guys.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
Dr.
you.
Candace Johnson, President and CEO here at Roswell Park. More next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog, WGR.
It is a Sabres game night. They are at home against Boston. It is a 7:30 puck drop, 6:30 pregame, and that'll be right here on WGR. And that is where you can hear Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray tonight. As for television purposes, it is a TNT and HBO game. Some lineup notes for tonight. Matthias Samuelsson is considered a game-time decision after missing practice yesterday with an illness. He was, though, out there for the optional skate earlier this morning. Connor Timmins appears to be going into the lineup tonight in place of Zach Metsa. And then in terms of who's starting in net, all signs are pointing to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start. We'll get confirmation on all of that as we get closer to puck drop. But the Sabres injury report, it is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. Unlike last night, a very light night around the rest of the NHL. Just one other game. It's Rangers at the Maple Leafs. That is also at 7:30. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning announced a few hours ago that defenseman Victor Hedman is going to be taking a temporary leave of absence from the team, that due to personal reasons. And then in the NFL, looking ahead to Week 1, the Seahawks going to be opening up the season on Wednesday, September 9th at 8:20. Their opponent is, of course, still to be determined. And then the traditional opening day on Thursday, which will be September 10th this year, is going to be the game in Melbourne, Australia, between the Rams and the 49ers. And then baseball is back. MLB opening night is tonight. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees do face off against Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
There's one chip and only one chip for the guacamole. That's that Cantina Gold, thick in the yellow bag.
It's Mike Schopp.
No thin crisp, no scoops. Get out of here with a hint of lime. Horrendous choice.
And the Bulldog.
The lime is just too much lime. There's lime in the guacamole. Any more lime is too much lime. You're crossing the lime. You've crossed the line. If you're using hint of lime in the guacamole with the lime, you've crossed the line.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog on WGR Sports Radio 550.
Just couldn't get enough of myself on that one. That line. Lime.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop.
Yeah, you dominate.
I just
you dominate
hammered that home.
You dominate that open. I didn't get a word in edgewise.
Did you hear me? Lime. Lime? Lime. Did you hear me? You got it? You make sure you heard that? Lime. See how smart I am?
Weeks or months old arguments again because I feel like I got run over.
Lime. Make sure everybody knows I said it. I'm
Although
doing the same thing now.
Cross the line is, that's high caliber.
That's
work.
fine.
It's
lime.
It's good.
Could I interest you in, as we welcome you back to Roswell Park, the Ride for Roswell launch party is just now underway. You might hear a commotion.
There seems like a commotion, yeah.
We've got a version of Plinko over here.
In a good way, Plinko. I can hear Plinko.
There's wine.
I think our audience can. You can't hear the wine.
You will.
At least not right now. Maybe after a few glasses get drunk.
Could I interest you in a little thing known as reverse Eastern Conference power rankings?
Sure. Hang on. Let me get the standings.
I mean, I'm not even sure you need them.
Well, I need them just to remember who all the teams are, Mike. I'm 60 years old.
Okay. That's fine.
I forget things. Yeah,
you could put them in alphabetical order and do just as well.
Right. I don't need.
I
just need to see them all before I start, ranking them.
Reverse, in this case, Eastern Conference NHL power rankings, RECN parentheses PR, brought to you by Empire Electric, your local residential neighborhood electrician. How about it?
Right there with the music. Did you tell Zach
it's football
you were doing
music.
This? Did you tell Zach that?
I did not.
He's just ready to go.
I saved it.
All right.
I thought perhaps at 3 I would, if you will, whip it out. Did not.
What?
Got to 3:10 and thought, don't need it now. We'll save it. 5, lots of people all around, eating and drinking and talking.
Yeah, 3 o'clock.
Now's when we need it.
You were too busy hating Tampa Bay. The Lightning.
I mean.
And, that was the whole thing.
They are easy to hate, aren't they? The Lightning?
I have mostly liked them because they weren't really annoying to me in any way, shape, or form. But I think I will. That winning goal last night is reason enough. I think I'll manage to get there, especially if they roll in here. What is it? A week from Monday?
April
now?
6th.
Right. Okay. And try. If they're still gonna. Let's see if you guys are tough again. And then I'm going to be full on hate level of the Boston Bruins.
They were down 3-1.
They were. Did you see the beginning of that game?
I did not. I had a job to do.
They were getting run over at the start of that game, and you'll love this. There was from both Olczyk and it was Boucher. And I can't figure out if Olczyk is really always teasing Boucher and Boucher hates it, or whether they're really tight. But I think there's a chance it's the prior. He's always tweaking Boucher, his hotel, the pick. He's always there, just poking Boucher. Anyway,
I'm sure it's hilarious.
Uproarious. The game starts. Minnesota scores. It's 1-0, and they're just running Tampa over. And Bouch, you know this. They were in Calgary on Sunday, and I didn't quite catch whether it was travel arrangements that they made or whether they got hung up because of travel difficulties or what. They didn't get home until 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and John Cooper was very concerned this morning that this might happen, that they'd be, same thing. You'll hear it, I'm sure,
tonight.
It'll come up in pregame some way or another, whether Lindy says it or a player says it or Paul, whatever.
Although there was an extra day.
There was an extra day. Tampa somehow botched their rest day with travel, and so they're in tough here. Good team they're playing, and then I turned it off and watched another game, and I didn't get back to it until it was 3-3. I'm I guess they found their legs.
I guess I didn't see the game until the 3-3 goal. They had a power play goal for 3-3, and then third looked pretty even to me, but
yeah, right.
They won it. Okay, well, the premise is pretty straightforward. The idea is to rank the 16 Eastern Conference teams in reverse order of quality. So, here we go. 16.
I think by almost any objective measure, whether it's do you want to be this team tonight, tomorrow night,
in a month,
July, or next October, I really feel like Toronto is a good answer.
Really?
I really feel like
I was sure you were going Rangers.
I think they are in real trouble. The Rangers don't even have what the Leafs have could be a part of their problem, which is a superstar player that looks like he's shooting a hostage video every time he talks in front of cameras in Austin Matthews. The Rangers don't have an Austin Matthews caliber player.
They almost did, but not anymore.
They don't. So that can cut both ways. I just think I think Toronto is probably going to fire everybody. The GM, the coach is done. I think the GM probably should be done, and who knows with Matthews. I don't know that he wants out. I just know what it would feel like watching him speak to the media as a fan, and I'd be like, this dude hates us, or hates it here, or hates his life here, or whatever, and that's nowhere I want to be.
You think he wants out?
I think he wants out. I think it looks to me like he wants out. That might just be like he just is sick of talking to the Toronto media about Mitch Marner or whatever. I don't know. But
answering the same questions for the last 8 years?
Yeah, he does not look
that would get old.
He does not look like a happy person to me at all. Now, it's a miserable season and a lot can happen, and I don't know that he has said one word, about the future or contract extension talks or anything.
They also don't have their number one pick.
No, right. That's a part of the reason why I think the GM is going to be fired. I mentioned we were talking to Flutu Shinzawa, who covers the Bruins, yesterday, and I mentioned how he works for The Athletic, and I read a piece, I think James Myrtle maybe, with The Athletic about the Leafs and about how the trade last year that cost them that first-round pick and Fraser Minton, who's a nice young player who will be in the lineup tonight for Boston, for Brandon Carlo, they got to that trade at 2 o'clock last year on trade deadline day. they were entirely focused on trading Mitch Marner for Mika Rantanen, and when that trade blew up, and then later in the day, it was like a last-minute thing, like, oh, okay, let's talk to the Bruins about Brandon Carlo.
But Marner wouldn't go.
Marner
personal
refused.
reasons.
Right, he didn't want to waive his no trade, which is, of course, within his right, but he did that, and they were sort of stuck and scrambled and threw together a trade that cost them a decent-looking young player and a first-round pick that's going to be in the top 10 for a player that's doing really almost nothing for them. In Brandon
Okay.
Carlo.
I mean, I'm not going to fight.
So I think the Leafs are in really tough. So they're my pick for 16.
Okay. I get it. I mean, I don't know how to rebut much of that.
Apparently, I was
using the Rangers.
Apparently, I was really ready to go on the Leafs.
Their draft status, like their prospect pool. I don't know. I just feel like they gave up a long time ago.
Yeah.
And maybe because they moved Panarin already.
Yeah.
Maybe they have I'll say 15 Rangers.
Yeah. I agree. They're not far off of the Leafs. I don't know what they're doing. It's funny. I was talking to my son Owen about this. He's following the league and whatever. He knows hockey. And it was the night we were watching the Rangers were the only game. They played Ottawa on Monday night. We're watching that game. I said, I get Panarin. I get any other veteran. You're dumping. You're in last place. Just try to get futures. They're like, what the hell happened with Keandre Miller? Like, that's last offseason. Or even at the deadline, I don't remember. It was last year at some point they traded. That's a good, very good young defenseman that seemingly to me should be a part of any He's young enough to be a key piece of your rebuild, and they dumped him, which is weird. And so Owen said it was probably what he remembers is like they didn't want to feel like they wanted to commit the big contract to him. They didn't trust it in some way, and the player was kind of maybe sick of it already. So let's just go on our way. But that's a weird trade to me still. And I don't know what else. I mean, Zibanejad just played his 1,000th game. Congratulations on that.
Oh, thank you.
But I don't know, man. There's not. I mean, Adam Fox is nice. The goalie's great, but he's getting old.
Aren't we all?
Rangers are in tough.
14. Washington? Question mark?
I like Washington here more than
Philly.
Who else? Philly, Washington just has to be at an end at some point with Ovechkin, and that may take a good while for them to figure out a way forward without him. They already spun off Carlson, so I thought this was happening to them 3 years ago. And to their credit, they staved it off. They had an excellent regular season last year, but weren't that good, and I think that showed eventually. And this year is a struggle, and there's a couple nice young guys there. The Hudson, the younger brother of Lane Hudson, Cole Hudson, just showed up. He looks nice. Riley Leonard, excuse me. I think it's Ryan or Leonard. Joined out of college last year around this time. He looks promising, but
Ryan Leonard.
Thank
Riley
you.
Leonard is the Colts quarterback.
That's an easy.
Right?
People
Notre Dame.
People make that mistake all the time.
They do.
Yeah, Washington's good there.
13. Flyers?
Yeah, I would say Flyers.
Reverse Eastern Conference power rankings, everybody.
It's happening.
Feel it. All right, that's easy. 12. Does it have to be Jersey?
I don't think it has to be Jersey. If you're thinking about moving forward, like beyond this year, I would much rather be Jersey than Philly.
Well,
I think
we've hit Philly, right, just now?
Yeah.
Or did we not make that official? There's no one else to talk about that's out of it.
No, I don't think we got to Philly. We had Washington.
13 is Philadelphia or Jersey.
Okay, then I would say Philadelphia.
Okay. No one else that we could mention.
Right.
I mean, the Flyers aren't even really out of it, technically, but Jersey probably is. 12 Jersey. Or do you want somebody that's in contention over them?
I'm tempted
under them?
to slag the Islanders, but Schaefer has changed that entire operation. Easy rookie of the year.
Bad loss.
Coasting, yes, but still,
Your guy had an assist at least.
Yeah, I do really like, the Devils have got, I think, the high-end guys, but I can't blow off the Islanders, so I'll say Devils. And then maybe the Islanders next.
At 11? What about Pittsburgh? What does Pittsburgh need to do it's not a perfect case study for this question because those guys are legends, and most fans, you want Sidney Crosby quintessentially. You want those guys on your team forever. So, it's not like they should have traded Crosby or Malkin or Letang even. Right. It's not like that. But what's a year that sort of pays them off for going another year with those guys? Do they need one series win? What do they need to make it have been worth it?
I can't see them getting more than that. I don't even know if I'll like them in a first-round series, honestly.
Blown out last night. I think they miss.
Colorado, but yeah.
I think they miss.
It's not crazy to think that could happen to them.
The Islanders would have to run them down.
Yeah.
Because they're still top 3 right now, Pittsburgh.
Right.
If we're at 11, I would put Pittsburgh next. Over, under.
Yep. All right.
No, over. Like the Islanders. Schaefer's a lot.
Right, he is. And even, I'm not crazy about Detroit. Detroit might be the next team they're not in right now, but that's been in the mix almost all year that I don't feel great about.
Okay.
Moving forward.
So then 10 would be Detroit or Florida. We haven't mentioned Florida yet.
I think
they'll be back.
I think all Florida needs is a year off. I really do. I think they're not super young, but they're not Pittsburgh. They're not like the guts of that team. I mean, you got to make a decision about Bobrovsky. That's a big deal. He's a free agent, so they're going to need to figure that out. But the rest of it, to me, Barkov will be back, and Tkachuk is in his prime, and Marchand is pretty old. I think they need a year off, and they'll be back next year. Is what I think, Florida.
All right, so I'm not writing these down like I should be. 16 Toronto, 15 Rangers, 14 Washington, 13 Flyers, 12 Pittsburgh, 11 Detroit.
We skipped Philly somewhere.
No, I said them.
No, 12 is New Jersey.
12 Jersey?
Mm-hmm.
Then 11 is Pittsburgh, and 10 is Detroit?
That's what I have down, yeah.
All right, fine.
Good. At least somebody's writing these down. Good job, Zach.
9 would be Florida or a likely playoff team. Islanders or Florida?
I think I want to go Islanders here.
Thinking about Boston, too.
Oh, they're listening.
I know I should be careful. They're playing them tonight, and I don't know. I just don't think that's a.
Okay.
I don't think they're. I would put Boston next. I don't think they're that good.
Above, in a bad way, Islanders or Florida.
That's what I'm saying.
9 is Boston. Okay.
I mean, you guys can, you can outvote me.
No, I don't know.
I'm fine with that.
I mean, Swayman has been great. He played last night, by the way. I assume that means we're getting Korpisalo tonight.
I will look into it.
But for some reason, my go-to for that I can't seem to access here for some reason, which is really weird.
They could get a little nervy because they lost.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't have it official.
They were sleepwalking last night. They could. I mean, they're in a playoff race here, so they could feel like they got to go to their guy 2 nights in a row, but I'd be surprised. But we'll see. We don't know officially, like you said. I like them. I think as much as we've been thinking Detroit was a team to fall out, I wouldn't be stunned if it were Boston.
No.
That fell out.
No, Boston probably deserved to lose in Detroit head-to-head on Saturday. They just won. So they're 9.
Yep.
I forget the numbers.
Yep.
8 Islanders or Red Wings?
I'll say Red Wings.
Okay. 7
Islanders.
Okay. 6 This is all just window dressing for the good stuff.
Columbus.
These mid-teams. Columbus. Absolutely. Sure. Love it. 5.
Ottawa.
Carolina.
I kind of love Carolina here. Yeah.
5.
All right. Done.
Tampa's better. Buffalo might be better. I say might be because I'm scared of everything. Montreal's better. Ottawa's better. There's your bottom 4 in the reverse Eastern Conference power rankings. All right. Carolina 5. 4.
I got to go Ottawa next. Then.
Me too. Nice win. Back-to-back road wins.
Yep.
Last 2 nights.
Got
they get
them.
tonight off, I guess.
They're in the, that put them. They're in the wild card spot, right? Yeah, they're a point up on the Islanders.
They are in.
Yeah. No.
They're tied with the Islanders.
Tied with the Islanders.
Maybe they're not in.
They played 1 fewer game, so they have the leg up.
They have 6 more regulation wins than the Islanders.
That also helps. But yeah, they're in the spot, Ottawa, right now.
They're 4.
They're 4.
3.
Montreal.
I guess. What's the argument against? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Buffalo is. I would give Buffalo the nod on Montreal. I love Montreal. I've said it all year. I've kind of stopped saying it now because the playoffs are coming, and I don't want to sound like I love Montreal, but I love that team. I love watching that team play. They are a fun team to watch. They will make us insane if they play the Sabres in a playoff series.
I don't need that.
There is a lot of hot, young talent there. Hudson, to me, will be a Norris candidate, maybe as soon as next year.
I don't need help going insane.
He is unreal all over the ice, the way he moves. He's just incredible. Anyway.
Sergeant Peepers at home?
Yeah.
Or Cockatiel?
Yeah.
So we move Sergeant Peepers out into the main room. I'm not even sure why, but, it's getting to be nicer out and give Peepers a look at the birds are showing up and the sunlight and, we're going to try to not let her out. Mm-hmm. Unlike her predecessor, try to keep her in the house. But I'm telling you, the last week, it is just constant chirping. And I'm one step away from Googling, has anybody lost their mind having a bird that peeps every 3 seconds?
Surely people have.
Do they know it? I'm not sure if they know it.
Many people would have been subjected to this and have been driven insane.
And look, I'm not going to do anything drastic here.
Right.
I'll leave before I let Peepers leave. But I'm telling you, it is like, except for sleeping hours, and I'm not even sure of this.
Yeah, right.
It's just, she wakes me up, and then last 2 days I've been home alone for a few hours in the morning. It's just all the time. It's constant peeping. And she doesn't say words.
Right.
Her predecessor, who's not back yet, would say words and whistle songs.
Sorry, I'm laughing.
And he's not.
How long has that been?
A few years.
Yeah.
But Peepers is really just one note.
That's tough.
It's constant one note peeping. So I don't need any help going insane. I don't need the Canadians.
That is like almost to me some version of a jackhammer. Like, I know it's a very different sound, but if it's repetitive, it's the same sound over and over again. That's exactly what a jackhammer is.
Anything like that, a beep,
like
a smoke alarm with the battery isn't replaced. Where it's just every few seconds it beeps.
This is a living, breathing animal in your house that's acting like a smoke alarm.
And you set your heartbeat to it. Like, you just sort of know, like the hatch and lost or something, in a certain number of seconds there's going to be.
Right.
My record.
And if you're trying to sleep through it, you might hear it it seems like it's been longer. Maybe it stopped. Maybe I can get. There it is again.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
And then you can get to the point where you're like, is she okay?
Right.
You don't hear it for a little bit.
Right.
Are we sure she's okay?
Right.
2.
Sabres.
Yeah, me too.
Me
too.
I can't just blow past Tampa.
I know. I don't want to do it.
The goalie.
I'm afraid to do it.
We'll see about this Hedman thing, like how long that lasts once we get any information on it. If you haven't heard, as our show was beginning today, we learned that Victor Hedman was taking a leave of absence for personal reasons. We don't know what that is, how long it may last. We've been through this as a fan base twice this year with Darlene, and thankfully everything turned out well there. I believe Carolina, his fiance, is here now, back in Buffalo, so good for them. So best to Victor Hedman, but that's a huge piece of that team. And see when he gets back.
This Radish, though, he's more annoying to me than Hedman. I've never had to worry about Hedman like when it was important.
I cannot wait
this guy.
until somebody gives him $9 million a year this offseason and he scores 12 goals for them.
I mean, or it's like a stick in the face or something. Like, that'd be all right. Yeah. Just this guy's tough. Just really demonstrative. And, again, that goal that they had called back, Minnesota, last night, he gets cross-checked, like kind of. You wouldn't have known it from the announcers who all thought it was basically a capital offense.
Crime scene. Yeah.
It's just sort of like a stick in the kind of one you get away with 9 out of 10 times in a hockey game.
Would Lindy have called it a push in the pants?
Maybe.
Remember the push in the pants?
No, actually.
It was Briere on Ovechkin near the Sabre bench in a when it was hot, it mattered, and he got called. I think I'm almost sure it was Briere. Zhitnik would have been gone by then, I think. So yeah, and late in the game they called a penalty, and after the game, Lindy was objecting to the penalty. I mean, it's a push in the pants.
This was a push in the shirt, the lower back area.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem like it had to be a problem, but Radish, like, he crumples, and then he turns a little bit in the direction of the goalie's legs. If you really didn't care about drawing a penalty and just being able to complain about it, you'd get up.
Right.
This guy doesn't get up. He's basically dead.
Right.
He's just laying on the ice on top of the goalie, and the goal is scored, and like 3 Lightning players immediately like, what? How about try to stop the play?
Yeah.
No? We're just going to whine and complain?
Right. Yep.
I hate them. 1, Tampa.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to
hate
somebody in hockey.
At least that. I mean, I think.
It's so nice to hate a different team other than the Sabres.
Right.
Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at Roswell Park. More next here on WGR.
Up at home as the Sabres will play host to the Boston Bruins. For TV purposes tonight, it is a TNT HBO game, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, it's going to be right here on WGR. Some lineup notes for tonight. Mattias Samuelsson is considered a game-time decision after missing practice yesterday with an illness, though he was out there this morning for the optional skate. Connor Timmins appears to be going into the lineup in place of Zach Metsa, and all signs are pointing to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start in net. We'll get confirmation on all of that as we get closer to puck drop. Sabres Injury Report. It is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the expert at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. It is a very light night around the rest of the NHL. Just one other game, Rangers at the Maple Leafs. That is also at 7:30. And then the Lightning earlier today announced that Victor Hedman is going to be taking a temporary leave of absence from the team for personal reasons. And then looking ahead to week 1 in the NFL season, the Seahawks will be opening up the season on Wednesday, September 9th at 8:20. Their opponent is still, of course, to be determined, while that traditional Thursday night opener is going to be September 10th this year, and that will be the Melbourne game between the Rams and the 49ers. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Callers 5 and 6 at 716-221-4WGR. That's 4947. Each win a pair of tickets to Wu-Tang Clan Forever, the Final Chamber. That'll be at Darien Lake Amphitheater, August 27th. The prizes are courtesy of Live Nation. Tickets go on sale Friday morning at 10 at Ticketmaster.com. If you missed any of our show or the morning show, check it out on the Odyssey app. You want to know why I'm naming teams in fantasy football this year mouth jarts? That's a reference that you had to have been listening for earlier today. Mouth jarts.
Yep.
Mouth jarts.
It's a jart. Yeah, no.
In your mouth.
I'm not going to.
It's a mouth jart.
Yeah.
There's really no good way to explain it. It doesn't really work.
No, not without like another 40 sentences or so on the whole subject, which is not really warranted.
I'm not willing.
No, I don't want to do it again.
I
did love it, though.
Mouth charts.
Yeah.
I do wonder what you think about the Sabres lineup if everybody's available. I mean, Shen, I don't think we need to debate. But Greenway or Timmins, who we think is going in.
Yeah.
For Metsa, maybe just to see.
I think that is what's happening tonight. Yes, Timmins he's missed almost the entire year with a leg injury, but he's healthy. He's been skating for quite a while now with them, and I think they now know. I think they've experimented to enough of an extent with Metsa that I'm very confident. Game 1 of the playoffs, he's in the lineup. And I think they've done a good job of using him in some other places to see if, like, say, one of the top 4 guys gets hurt. Can we just slide him in and pair him with Dahlin or with Power or with Byram? I don't know that he would take Dahlin's spot, but maybe, and pair with Samuelsson, I guess. So I think they know what they've got there, and I think they trust that. The way Lindy has talked about him, like, he's not being punished. He's not in danger of losing his spot. I think what tonight is it's a long haul, right? We got to be ready. If you make it in here and start winning rounds, I mean, you're playing into June. So what do we have when anybody's got to miss a game? Who can move in with who, and what then becomes of the third pair? I think Stanley is likely to be a staple, but it's possible that they look at, depending on the opponent, what he looks like with Timmins, or really anyone but Metsa, and all right, we just got to know what other pairs can do here. So Stanley and Timmins tonight. So if Metsa has to play up higher in the lineup because someone's hurt, who's the guy? I would expect that at some point, maybe not as soon as Friday, but 11 games left, that Michael Kesselring gets similar treatment to Timmins. Let's try him out here with Stanley, see if that can be our third pair. Again, this is all predicated on my belief that Metsa is the guy that goes up if someone up top gets hurt. So they're just trying to see what their best play is with the third pair if that happens. I think if everyone's healthy, Metz is playing there. I think that's pretty easy. I don't have to be right about that, but that's my read, and I think it adds up. Greenway is a whole different thing. Like I don't know. Style-wise, he is a player, the type of player I would love to have in my lineup at the playoffs if he's at his full capacity, right? So I think he'll get a look here soon. He's going to tell Paul, we're going to hear an interview with him in our pregame, even though he's not playing tonight, that he feels better than he has felt in months.
Yeah.
This new treatment that he found, or they found, whatever, it finally, because it's been the same story with him like 3 different times this year. He's missed time. He's back. They're managing him, load management. It just nothing is taken. And so if he's indeed turned a corner, I would want to get a look at him on my fourth line, and depending on who I'm playing and what kind of game I expect, I think it would be nice to have 6'6", 240 pounds on your fourth line. Could be.
In place of
Krebs, probably, which is tough. I mean, Krebs has been such a spark plug guy for them all year, but Carrick ain't coming out. Malenstein's not coming out.
Yep.
Right? Krebs, I know, is right now going into play tonight on the top line with Thompson and Tuck. I think at some point that is going to become Benson's spot. I just think by the time the playoffs get here, that's probably ideal for them. That puts Krebs down there, and I think that might be a tough decision. It really depends on what Greenway is capable of. Can he get through? He's gone through these practices, and he's feeling great. Can he play games? Can he play playoff games? And can he do that 3 times, 4 times in a week and still be the guy that you need him to be? If he can, I think that might be the hardest decision to make. I think the rest of the lineup, I don't think I'm touching anything. The McLeod with Zucker and Quinn, like that line has been constant all through this. That's the one line that never gets messed with. I think Norris line stays what it is. I think, like I said, if Benson gets up in place of Krebs and Krebs comes down, then I think your decision is Krebs versus Greenway. I doubt they would take Benson out for Greenway. I
would hate it.
And I don't really like the idea of taking anybody out with the kind of year that they've had. And like I said, Krebs has been, I'll bet there's people out there right now that hear me going like, no, because you start to crush on every guy on the team for whatever it is he does. And Krebs is kind of he's the crazy guy that'll fight a guy that outweighs him by 100 pounds. He doesn't care. And I love guys like that on a hockey team. I think they're important guys to have, like sort of a
little bit loose
screwball guy, right? Like, what is this guy? This guy's going to spear me in the face? What's happening here? But Greenway, the last time this team was in any kind of a race, which is 3 years ago now, under Granato, when they missed by a point, I felt like as the spring was going on, I just noticed Greenway. When you're into the game at the level we're all getting into it now or already into it now, you notice every little thing. Like what side, is this guy on the defensive side or the offensive side as he's going to the wall to try to challenge the guy who has the puck? And I just thought Greenway was excellent at all of that sort of stuff. He's another good penalty killer and a big body. I'd be really tempted to get him in the lineup. He's the one guy I think that I would look at.
Hypothetically, what if Kulik is ready?
Unless something happens to Norris, I don't.
Can't do it?
I don't think so.
If they can't score and he's cleared?
Have they not said he's not going to be cleared?
Kekalainen said at the deadline he didn't think it was likely.
Okay.
That he would make it back.
All right.
So it's probably not happening.
But it could, if the door
if you found out
open,
that he was available, you'd have to be tempted, depending on if they're losing, how they're losing.
I just don't know what he has. He's been skating. I just don't know what I'd be getting.
Okay.
With that much time out, that would be tough. It would have to be a very specific. I mean, obviously he'd have to be cleared, which might be a long shot. But if it were to happen, boy, I'd have to really be in tough scoring. Or like I said, something would have
that
to
could
happen. Something would have to happen to Norris, which also could happen.
Yep. We'll be back at Roswell Park here for more. It's the launch event for the annual Ride for Roswell coming up in June. 803-0550 for your calls. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog here, WGR. Just realizing, I thought about this earlier, being here at Roswell Park, I'm just a little bit too far away from the arena to not have to drive there, right?
You could. You're gonna want your car there, though, right? You're meeting your kids, both of them.
Yeah.
The train, and then there's a train station
right here.
Yeah, not far. So
I don't hate that.
You could do that.
And then take it back.
Take it back, and then get your car. Yeah, I mean that could work.
That's probably what I want.
Yeah. 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 We're very out of practice. I have not been. Well, I went to a game with Jeremy White and the folks from Roswell. Funny enough, I just saw Jen Hickok, who was the person that invite came from when Jerry and I went to that game. Her and one of her partners, Michelle Ostrander, invited us, but Jared drove, and so I have not driven to a packed Sabres game yet. Right, it's a very different thing. For a lot of years there, when I was working at home, I got tickets, whatever. I'm leaving at 6:30. And pulling right up and just walking in because there's 6,000 people in there. It's back to being a packed house. So, the whole thing is it's back to, I got to leave myself enough time and all that. Yeah, I would hit the train.
As long as I can get in the garage here. But you probably can. After hours.
I would make sure, but, yeah, it would surprise me if that is closed off. So
yesterday we talked about Phil Muir.
Yeah, we did. And how I did not remember him ever playing for the Sabres.
In fact, he played in Game 5 of the Adams Division Finals in 1982, filling in for Bob Sauvé, who got scored on twice on 2 shots. And the Sabres went on to lose the game 9-0.
And this was a game
with
played
poor Phil
on a
Muir.
weekday afternoon.
I think so. I'm not 100% it was that game. I think it was.
Okay.
I think it was. And of all people, this would be the one you would guess. Sneaky Joe went and watched that game.
Oh, jeez.
And he sent me – I'm going to show you the picture. He sent me a screenshot of Phil Muir.
Oh, no.
Poor Phil. He didn't ask for any of this.
I know.
I got this randomly this morning. I'd like to be able to show – maybe I can show everybody. Look at this.
I mean, you could tweet it. You'd have to tweet it, I think, to do that. Is that a goal being scored?
I think it might be a goal being scored, and – Muir, the goalie, is the only person in the shot, and he is bent over.
He's standing with his legs.
And his arms are out.
His pads tightly together.
His arms are sideways, he's bowing.
Right. He's at a right angle. He's bent at the waist, and his body is perpendicular to the ice.
Now, I don't see a puck.
Upper body. Right.
But without following up with Joe, what I got from him was I just had to see how these goals were scored. Because he has a thing about he's not wrong.
How bad
goalies in those years just compared to now, it's not even fair. They do not impress.
Right.
So 9-0 Sabres losing in the playoffs. The light bulb went on for Joe. I got to watch that. So last night, many nights, if not most nights, winding to a close. ADP chasing is over. The Tampa game is over. Everybody's in bed. Or not home yet. My daughter practiced until 10. Put on YouTube. And there it is. It's that time of year, the 86 Masters.
Oh, boy.
Which is 10 out of 10. 100 out of 100 for a sporting event is the 1986 Masters. And when I got this about Phil Muir from Joe, you have to watch the 1986 Masters. You just have to. And he says, I can't watch old golf. I mean,
is that
most sports look more different than golf. And I'm like, buddy, it's Augusta. You already know the golf course.
Right.
It's Pat Summerall and Vern Lundquist, if you want him, and a rookie Jim Nantz, and the great Ben Wright. You've got Greg Norman before his choking reputation. You've got Sevy. I mean, 10 different guys maybe had the lead on the final round of that tournament, and you end up at Nicklaus. What's not to love about that if you like sports at all? I can't watch old golf.
There's no top tracer lines.
No, right. It's better. You have to imagine whether this is going to be a good shot. He does. He said he did watch an old fight, Ali, and that's fine too. I'll watch old anything.
Yeah,
pretty much. But he has an aversion to the golf, and I just wanted to shame him publicly.
I hate how much I miss when the lines aren't there. The tracer, like if it's a lower rent tournament, I hate how I feel when it's not there because it frustrates me to not have it, and I don't want that to be the case.
More after the update. Sabres and Bruins pregame at 6:30 on WGR.
pregame is coming up in a half hour at 6:30 as the Sabres do play host to Boston. For television purposes, it is a TNT HBO game, so if you do want to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, that's going to be right here on WGR. Some lineup notes for tonight. Matthias Samuelsson is considered a game-time decision after missing practice yesterday with an illness. He was out there, though, this morning for the optional skate. Connor Timmins appears to be going in the lineup in place of Zach Metsa, and all signs do point to Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen getting the start in net. We'll get confirmation on all of that as we get closer to puck drop. The Sabres Injury Report. It is brought to you by Hamburg Overhead Door. Is your garage door injured? Call the experts at Hamburg Overhead Door to get your door healthy again. There is just one other game tonight, the Rangers at the Maple Leafs. That game will also get going at 7:30. And the Tampa Bay Lightning announced that Victor Hedman will be taking a temporary leave of absence from the team for personal reasons. In the NFL, looking ahead to Week 1, the Seahawks are going to open up the season on Wednesday, September 9th at 8:20. Their opponent is still, of course, to be determined, while that traditional Thursday opener is now going to be the Melbourne game between the Rams and the 49ers. And then baseball is back. MLB opening night is tonight. Aaron Judge and the New York Yankees face off against Rafael Devers and the San Francisco Giants. It's Yankees-Giants live on Netflix tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
You know, I gotta wonder what kind of working relationship you'd have with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp.
I've often wondered that. He, they, I don't know what his pronouns are, or their pronoun. Anyway, Satan.
And the Bulldog.
What's the upside of doing well? Well, maybe they're too busy making everyone else's life hell.
Oh, boy.
And you might just be able to do your own thing if you're partnered with Satan.
It's Mike Schopp and the Bulldog.
They're too busy, making Scott Norwood miss field goals.
Oh, come on.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Welcome back. We're at Roswell Park. The ride for Roswell officially kicks off today. I mean, the riding isn't for a few months.
3 months from Friday. The date is the 27th, Saturday, the 27th of June. Fundraising, that's up to everyone individually. I've already done some, but this is the kickoff party is where we're at here. So that's why we're here. And, yeah, there's a lot of people here that are excited about it that I'm sure have been participating for years. And it's been a really fun afternoon for us.
And they all just came out of that room right now to stand right here.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. The ambiance.
Right.
Eve, that's our word for it, ambiance.
Right, we've got a crowd now.
Eve Holberg is with us. She will be the torchlighter here in 2026. You have a long history with this event, and I'm sure a proud one.
A very proud one. I've been involved with this event this will be my 16th year riding, and my story is a lot like the stories that you see all around you. Somebody got cancer, or somebody that they knew got cancer, and suddenly their awareness is elevated, and they need to express somehow. They need community. They need to help. And here is the ride for Roswell. And that was my experience. My diagnosis that first year, I was so isolated and so alone. I went for a ride around Grand Island, 17 miles around Grand Island.
Is that what it is?
All of it.
You got an island
all of it, headwind, I'm here to tell you.
Somehow that happens.
Yeah.
That's when I quit riding.
Yeah, right.
Right.
But I was so alone, and I felt so isolated, and a friend of mine said, well, why didn't you do Ride for Roswell? It's all about, connections and community and supporting one another. And I really didn't have a good answer. And so the next year, my husband and I got involved and stayed involved and got really involved.
And you've raised over $100,000 over 16 years, your husband and yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, that is just, congratulations.
Thank you.
It
feels like a drop in the bucket, when you talk about $100 million.
I know. I raised $4,000 last year, and I felt like a superhero.
Yeah.
But I'm like, they raised $10 million or something like that. It is, but every little bit, right?
Oh, my goodness, yes, absolutely. Every little bit.
That island trip, you probably took it, if it's a few years ago or more than a few years ago, before they put that bike path in.
Yes.
So, I mean,
it was
now,
a challenge.
Much better
you
now.
still have the wind now. They haven't
Yeah.
fixed that, but it's more of a leisurely trip. Then East River is tough on a bike.
You hate the wind as much as I hate the wind as a cyclist. It is my mortal enemy, the wind. I hate the wind.
Well, I got an e-bike a couple of years ago, and the e-bike, it makes the hills and the wind go away.
That makes it work for you.
Yeah.
Well, so torch lighter. I mean, that you've obviously been to the openings. I've not been. I'm always working on Fridays since I've been involved. The Peloton goes right past my house every year. So I've seen that and always been like impressed and sort of envious. I've never taken part in that. But the torch light, to be the person to light the torch has to be a tremendous honor.
I can't even express how incredibly honored and moved I am to represent you. And if you ever get a chance to go to the Celebration of Hope, here we are, whatever we bring, whatever we have, we're one. We're one community in hope against cancer, and it's an incredible feeling. It really is an incredible feeling. Riding in the Peloton is an amazing experience. It's just, obviously I'm not expressing myself well, but my gosh.
Yeah,
obviously,
no,
you've never heard our show.
I feel moved watching it go past my house, seriously. And last year I qualified. I was eligible, but I was working and I didn't. But if I get there this year, I'm taking the day off because I want to be a part of that. Like I said, I watched it.
Awesome.
For 25 years, right past my house.
It's incredible.
Where do you live? Where do you do most of your riding? Is it a regular, hobby for you?
Oh my goodness, yes. My husband and I, that he died in December of 2024, cancer. He had cancer, and he and I were avid bicycle riders. We took a bicycle ride, a trip across southern Portugal.
Oh my!
We took a bicycle ride across not Northern Ireland, but the north of Ireland, County Donegal, and through the Adirondacks and the North Country and the Finger Lakes. But around here, I live in North Buffalo, and I have my 6 or 7 routes. I go out to the Outer Harbor. I ride up to North Tonawanda and around there. I've not gone to Grand Island in quite a while. It's sort of like if I ride from my house to Grand Island, once I get across the bridge, which is a kind of a startling experience, once I get across the bridge, I'm like, I think it's time to go home.
Right back across.
Right. But I can throw the bike in the car and go over.
I do the same thing. I think a lot. Like we work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, so I have mornings free. Yeah. And I'll think, I should ride to Niagara Falls, but I know what's going to – I live in North Buffalo as well. I know what's going to happen when I get, to his house on the island. I don't have time to go to Niagara, let alone get to Niagara Falls and then ride my bike back.
Right.
I mean, that's a bit much on a Wednesday morning.
Well, it is great for people who will do that, not all of whom have to cross the bridge in the first place. They have that parkway, which is, built for – bicyclists.
Yeah.
And you can literally go Buffalo to the falls without having to encounter any traffic.
I feel like that's all I started cycling in probably 2015 when I couldn't run anymore because I just got hurt and I couldn't do it. So I pivoted to cycling. I would say even just in the 10 or 11 years I've been doing it, things have gotten better on the roads. There's still angry motorists who are going to swear at you and yell at you, and that's just never going away. But as far as accommodating, bike lanes and stuff, it's a lot better, I think.
Yeah, I think that we can absolutely thank the huge bicycling community here, and also Go Bike Buffalo. If I can just give a shout out to another.
The slow roll people are great. Seamus Galvin, all those folks. Yeah.
But, the Ride for Roswell Canada route, which unfortunately we don't have anymore, but that was an amazing experience. They would actually close off a lane in the parkway. So going to Niagara Falls, Ontario, we have the entire lane, and it was just,
that's a beautiful ride.
I have friends who are avid cyclists who participate in rides in other communities. there's there are many rides for very, very many causes, and they do these just routinely. And I got them into the Ride for Roswell one year. I said, come on, let's do a team, and we did. And they said unequivocally it was the best organized, most fun, best volunteer staff. They had never seen anything like it, and it's like that every year. I don't know what the ratio, but it feels like there's a volunteer for every rider. There really does.
When you start adding up the local police force and whatever that are patrolling intersections.
Absolutely. And for me, I love the ride. It's hard to ask people for money, but they know what my experience is, and they know what my husband's experience was. And people want to support a cause, and they want to feel like they're part of something too. And so in the end, it's really an easy ask. I'm riding in the Ride for Roswell. I'm honoring my husband. I'm lighting the torch this year. Please support my ride. And they do, and they will. I'm hopeful.
rideforroswell.org. We're with Eve Holberg. Are you a part of what's left tonight in terms of the ceremonies? It's just time to eat and drink and
I think it's time to, get a snack and, some water. And yeah. We had a great panel discussion. I know that there are some tours of the labs. And so I've been there, done that. Yep. I don't
Understood. Right. Leave room for someone who hasn't experienced it.
Right. Exactly.
Very good. Great to meet you. Congratulations on
Thank you
the honor
so much.
And, the whole experience you have with this event.
Thank
really
you
special.
for making time for me. I'm so grateful.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Eve Holberg, our guest. She'll be the torchlighter for the Ride for Roswell this year as we transition here at just outside the ballroom. Last year, Bulldog was away. They put me and Sal in there, and we were not in the hallway. But, like anything, pluses and minuses. There's plenty of action in the hallway.
Yeah, there's a lot of activity.
Plenty of busyness.
Plenty of activity here in the hallway. Yeah, no doubt about that.
I'm in work. Go ahead.
So it's just so funny to me, small world. That she started riding around Grand Island before she did the ride. It's just.
And she might be your neighbor.
Right. I didn't
as well
get a chance to check exactly where in North Buffalo, but yeah, we might be very close.
I'm in work seats tonight.
All right.
I won these for something. Maybe it was a great Halloween costume or something I made for a cook-off.
Something that you participated in that I, for some reason, am just a standoffish jerk about. Yeah, so good for you.
And there's always a moment when you sit in the work seats where if you're in there first, people show up and sit next to you.
Who else is coming? Right.
In the past, Ryan Gates and Brian Mazeroski have been those people. I'm not sure if that'll be tonight, but I was just trading tweets with Brian.
I'll bet it's not because I think Brian and Ryan share seats. They've got a whole thing going up top.
Okay.
There's stuff. There's a St. Sammy. Brian's got like a side hustle. I think
they've moved up.
Yeah. They moved up. I think they might be in the top row.
Brian just tweeted that he's got 5 open medium salsa jars in his fridge. And I have 3 at least. This is one that I'm guilty of because I always look at never need chips unless you're hosting or something, but chips.
Yeah.
And then do we have salsa? And I mean, sometimes I'm not going to know. Because I'm not taking inventory before I leave.
You don't have one of those refrigerators that'll tell you what you have in your fridge when you're at the grocery store?
I don't.
Good for you.
That exists?
Oh, yeah. Smart fridge. Yeah.
You can have your fridge tell you what you need?
It's got a camera inside the fridge, and you can access it on your phone, and then you – look, there's 3 jars of salsa.
Well, Brian doesn't have this either.
Apparently not.
If he does, he's not using it right.
He doesn't know how to use the app.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's always something that I think maybe we need this, and it keeps, put it in the pantry until we need it, and it keeps.
Right.
So there's always too many jars of salsa in that house. More salsa than chips.
Well, that's a problem.
But he says he's got 5.
What else are you doing with the salsa? I mean, I guess you could throw it on a hot dog if you really want, but no.
Nothing else.
No, it's chips.
Right. He has 5.
That's a lot.
I have 3.
And he's got little kids. Brian.
Does he?
Like, yeah, he don't even. So there's not. I don't
That's
think,
why they're medium.
I don't think the kids are factoring into the salsa much. That's tough. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we like salsa. I like salsa. I don't think there's ever more than one open jar of salsa in the fridge in my house.
You don't want to run out, though.
Yeah, well, I guess I frequently do. Like right now, I guess I would say we're out.
Want to run out.
I think we're out. It's not high on my priority list.
Eggs.
I try very hard. I like to have eggs in the house. I try very hard not. Oh, sure. Yes, good point. I try not to buy chips. Like I feel like I want to give myself a little like a Facebook like every time I go to Dashes and walk out of there without chips.
Without chips?
Like it's a victory of some degree. That I will sometimes walk in there like if my wife is home and I'm coming in with some guy like no chips. I'm so proud of myself. Like it's so hard. I like chips a lot.
Yeah, I mean that's a great achievement.
Chips are great.
That's a great achievement.
I'm gonna have to stop.
Well, I'm not sure I'll
chips.
see. I guess I won't see Brian based on what you're telling me tonight. I'll see somebody. I know.
Think not. I mean, I he could have gotten these seats like you did and then sold his other ones.
That's what you would do.
Yeah.
You don't sell the work seats.
No.
You keep the work seats and sell the other seats.
You'd be a real jerk to sell the work seats.
You can't. You shouldn't.
Yeah, I don't think.
That's a bad move.
Absolutely. You should not be allowed to do it. I don't know that you are actually explicitly forbidden from doing it, but you should not do it.
Are you telling me this crowd tonight will be pretty much like no Boston?
I don't know if I want to put my name on no Boston, but I think it'll be very little Boston.
We're keeping our tickets now?
I think so. I think that's yeah. The Toronto. I was very pleasantly surprised about the Toronto game a couple Saturdays ago. Because I thought it would still be pretty close. I thought everyone was building themselves up like, I can't wait to go to a Sabres-Leafs game and have it be a Sabres game. And they're like, not so fast. Like, I don't know. Like, these people might have had these tickets for months. But, I mean, and there were Leaf fans there, but it was way down from what it usually is. Paul even said, I think, the Monday after that right away warm-ups is when he knew it wasn't going to be the same because there's usually like 35 rows deep around where the Leafs come out from the dressing room for pregame warm-ups. No people are in the seats yet for the game, and that's usually just full of Leaf fans, and he said it was really sparse. So I would think this, some Boston fans, yes, but no, not like anything like what you experienced with Montreal a month or so ago. Or I think I mentioned yesterday with our Boston guest, the last Bruin game I went to, it wasn't just there were a lot of Bruins fans around me, and that was awful. But it was also how Sabres fans were just not in the mood. I mean, it was ironic, like derisive cheering the whole time.
The worst.
And there was a guy sitting like 3 seats down from me, a row in front, who at one point in the second period, I kid you not, had his head in his hands and was just repeatedly saying, I hate this team. I hate this team. Over and over again. And I looked at my friend John Gale. I said, like, we got to go to a bar.
This was last year?
This was 2 years ago.
Okay, good.
So, like, that's old. Like, yeah.
They had Boston here once this year, and they had won 7 in a row. So hopefully it wasn't like that this year around Christmas when Boston was here.
But so I think, you'll get some fans, you get Southern Ontario Bruin fans, because that's just, for a long time, Niagara Falls was like a Bruins junior hotbed. But no, I would, a couple thousand maybe is what I would guess.
That might be the last call, really. I mean, it's 7 home games left. Boston tonight. Detroit is Friday. It's similar, I would say, Detroit and Boston.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit more Boston. And then Seattle, not too worried about that. It's Saturday. The Islanders next week.
No.
Never really been a strong contingent.
They don't even have fans in New York.
Tampa, Columbus, and Dallas is the rest of the home schedule.
Yeah, I think we're in the clear there. Yeah.
Yeah. Until it goes Montreal, Ottawa, Boston
in the playoffs. Yeah.
And look out.
That would be pretty great. Oh, wow.
Yep.
Well, this is, I mean, you've been in there since. I mean, you went to that Montreal game. They lost, and there was a lot of Montreal fans. So it's not like you exactly got the whole, the old experience yet. Maybe tonight will be it, and I'm really excited for you for that. Because I got that. The Pittsburgh game was absolutely – Pittsburgh is a team that over the years has also drawn – again, it's not, the pecking order. It's not Toronto or Montreal or Boston even, but Pittsburgh, that's a drive. People come, and there weren't that many at all that night. It was a lousy game, almost from the start, but still, I got a full building of Sabres fans, mostly.
I mentioned texting with Joe about the Phil Muir game and the Masters and everything, and I just sent to him last night, watching it all play out, those few minutes of NHL Network where a few games ended right in a row. Detroit, Ottawa, Columbus, Philadelphia, Islanders, Chicago. None of those games went to overtime either, and neither did Boston, although that wasn't a game that I saw the end of. And, what should be the last playoff spot in the East for points? And I think I said 93, and he's like, buddy, 99.
Yeah.
He said that, I guess I knew this, but just maybe not to the extent that he does. The way the East is beating the West. We just had the Sabres and Lightning go out west for a total of 8 games. They didn't lose any of them in regulation.
Each, right, yeah.
So, I don't mean, there are exceptions, of course. Chicago winning on the island last night being one. But he thinks 98 or 99 might be the last seed. And that's crazy. Imagine if we were still in this drought and the Sabres had put up 95 points and missed.
And, by 3 or 4 points even. Yeah. That would be pretty jarring. But the division, especially their division, the Metro is not as hot. The division has it cooled off. Look at the last 10 for the whole division, and there's a bunch of around 500s in there. But still, there was that moment, it was quite a while ago now, where the 5 best records in the entire league from mid-January to a month or 6 weeks worth of hockey, the 5 best records in the entire league were all the top 5 Atlantic teams. That has mostly kept going. The division has just been really, really tough all year, and nobody seems to want to lose. Boston laid an egg last night against Toronto at home. See if they, regret that. I wonder what we get out of them tonight. Are they, it's a back-to-back with travel, but it was a lousy effort. And I wonder if they're going to be, I've talked about this a couple different times, sort of the mind, we're the Boston Bruins. It doesn't matter that Brad Marchand isn't here anymore. We're going to show you what it's like when you get to April kind of vibe. They got a couple of tough guys on their fourth line. I wonder if they're going to try the Sabres again, like Tampa did a couple weeks ago. I think it's definitely possible.
I'm guessing TNT will be impressed.
Tanner Jeannot, I think, is the one guy, and the other guy is Kastelik, and they're both pretty hardy fighters. I don't got a guy. Stanley will, if it turns into that game, Stanley will end up fighting one of them, maybe even, both. And I wouldn't predict him to do well, but he's the guy that's going to get fed to that. There's not another guy on this team that I want to see fighting that Jeannot. I can tell you that. Ballantyne might be game for it, but the guy's a killer.
Stanley hasn't had a fight yet, right? He hasn't.
No, he did. Yet. He had.
There was one.
Yeah, Toronto maybe.
Okay.
There was one, and Shen also fought maybe in the Toronto game too.
Maybe.
I feel like Stanley has had – no, you might be right. I think I'm mistaken. I think you might be right.
Toronto is the last home game before tonight.
No. I can't remember now.
Sabres and Bruins, TNT for the TV broadcast, WGR for the radio, and the pregame show, which is coming up next. I'm going to work my way in there, try to find my kids.
I hope that goes well.
That's always a fun game.
Yeah.
Where are your kids? We're going to play that and report back tomorrow.
You texted me that earlier today that you were going to meet up with them, and it just, I don't know why, it just triggered us in the arena, me waiting for my wife to bring Owen into the atrium, get him through the ticket, and like make sure he gets on the escalator to come up and see us. It's a long time ago.
Well, I guess it was. We'll see how it goes tonight. Stay tuned for pregame. Paul Hamilton next. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at the launch for the 2026 Ride for Roswell at Roswell Park. This is WGR.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go! All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at.